signed contracts before the game, Hugh, that they're going to supply goals. They're guaranteeing it for both teams.
Well, can you call it? That's the question. The only thing I'd ask for, and I hate to say it, is the two defences to be a little bit tighter, because that could be the difference on a night like tonight. What were they lacking last week, Stu? How can they possibly improve on their defending?
Well, I think when you look at the game and how open it was, you could thread a pass into midfield and it swung from end to end. It was almost 3-on-3 at one end, and the game was so widespread. If you want to defend slightly better, you're going to have to get more compact as a team. I certainly, for one, hope they don't do that.
Okay, fans ready inside the stadium, all of them holding aloft little bits of card and colour that have been left on their seats, revealing a Bayern player. Just the shorts down, kicking a ball. My German isn't great, but I think they shoot us into the final in German. So I think they're looking forward to winning the game tonight and possibly reaching Budapest, a place in the final against Arsenal away. So two sets of players in the tunnel. This game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. A reminder, tomorrow night we'll head to Villa Park live on talkSPORT to see if Nottingham Forest can hang on to their lead in the Europa League semi-final. On talkSPORT 2 tomorrow, Crystal Palace welcome Shakhtar Donetsk. They're 3-1 up on aggregate in the Conference League semi-final. And a reminder that playoffs get underway on Friday night. Millwall head to Hull exclusively on talkSPORT 2. There's a Saturday triple header on talkSPORT 2 at playoff football. Borough against Southampton at lunchtime, followed by Stevenage versus Stockport and Bolton versus Bradford in the League One semis. And our exclusive Premier League action on Saturday is at lunchtime and sees Liverpool take on Chelsea at Anfield. It was a special night in Paris last week when the lovers of the beautiful game revelled in the majesty of two wonderful teams entertaining the world. Will tonight in Munich be more about pragmatism than fantasy football, or can the sequel live up to its billing after a 9-goal thriller in the first leg? It is Bayern Munich versus Paris Saint-Germain for the right to face Arsenal in the 2026 Champions League final, with PSG leading 5-4 on aggregate, and it's live here on talkSPORT with the former Manchester City manager and England World Cup hero Stuart Pearce and our very own Jim Proudfoot.
Hugh, thank you, and a very good evening to you. So how do you follow perfection? For 8 days, the footballing world has marvelled at them, painstakingly dissected the extraordinary first leg that these two sides mustered at the Parc de France last week. A match where the shot count was well within normal measures, but where the attacking quality certainly wasn't. Like when 9 of the 12 shots on target went in, the frame of the goal was rattled 3 times, and neutrals and aficionados watched open-mouthed, absorbed by what felt like a reinvention of the game. And now, for the second helping. Of course, there's a chance that the heightened expectation could have a detrimental effect, that the last week will have seen both coaches concentrate on improving the defensive side of their club's performance that was lacking. But it doesn't seem likely, particularly in the wake of their respective 2-2 and 3-3 draws in the league of the weekend. Both coaches have made implicit promises that this will be the same again. Their team fueled by the old Keegan-esque philosophy that conceding 4 doesn't matter at all, providing you score 5. Or, in PSG's case, 4, because the fragile advantage is theirs as they look to be the first side to retain the Champions League for 8 years. Having blown a 5-2 lead in the first leg, has momentum already partially shifted Bayern's way. Well, the two sets of players just making their way out of the tunnel, led by the referee João Pinheiro, who caught the eye last week in his laissez-faire officiating in the Nottingham Forest Aston Villa Europa League tie, the second leg of which is tomorrow. Giant Tifo away to the right-hand side at the Bayern end of the ground. Schießt uns ins Finale. My German teacher will be so proud. Shoots into the final. PSG supporters much fewer in number, of course, much more modest Tifo from there, away at the other end of the ground. This is how the two teams line up tonight for the Champions League semi-final second. Neuer goal. Stanisic, Upamecano, Tar and Lima, the back four for Bayern. Kimmich and Pavlovic, Lise, Musiala and Diaz. And Harry Kane, PSG is snapping off the goal. Zaire Emery, Marquinhos, Pacho and Nuno Mendes. Fabian Ruiz, Coutinho and João Neves. Doué, Dembele and Kvaratskhelia. The benches for Bayern: Kim, Goretzka, Jackson and Davis. Bischoff, Ito, Guerrero, Carl. And the keepers are Irving and Albright. And for PSG is Moralo, Zabani, Gonzalo Ramos and Lee. Hernandez, Maulu, Tro, Barker and Bai. And three goalkeepers: Laurendon and Vigno, both untested. And Renato Barry, who is the most experienced of the three, and he's only 19. Plenty of experience on the benches though. Vincent Kompany marking on his 300th game in management tonight, hoping to be the first Belgian to win the Champions League since 1993. Luis Enrique's won this competition twice, with PSG last year and Barcelona back in 2015, hoping to get another treble. He's already only one of 7 coaches to have lifted the European Cup, with 2 different clubs to roll of honour that includes Carlo Ancelotti, Jose and Pep. Bastian, what are you expecting tonight? If you're Luis Enrique and you're protecting the lead, how do you go about it? Or is it simply just go for broke and don't think about the fact that you've got the lead? You've got to approach this the same way as they did last year.
Well, I would look at the positives. You know, if I was Enrique, you know, they scored 5 goals against Bayern. Let's not lose track of that fact, you know. They've got the goal advantage. I would say let's go out and win the game tonight. You know, irrelevant to what's gone on before. Let's go and win a game. We've shown we can score against them. We've shown we can cause some problems. I would just, as simple as that. You know, if at some stage during the second half the result is in your favour and you're protecting the lead, that's when maybe you change tactically slightly.
Well, neither of them have got an outstanding defensive record in this competition. PSG conceded 21 and Bayern 19, but both around a goal and a half a game. Going the other way, they've each been absolutely extraordinary. And Barcelona's all-time European Cup record of 45 goals in a single campaign is potentially going to be broken by both of these teams tonight, who start in the low to mid-40s. Big night as well for Manuel Neuer. He's had plenty of them. Managed to get more clean sheets in Champions League history than anybody else, hoping to get to the final again to maybe have a Bayern swan song of season, lift the trophy for a 3rd time. Bayern Munich in their famous red with the white markings, PSG in their change kit of all black. So after a 20-year wait, Arsenal had another crack at winning a Champions League final, but who will be standing in their way? Bayern and PSG, separated by the own goal in 9 after one of the all-time classic matches. Now back for war to earn their crack at Raw. And from the kick-off, Neuer gives a bit of time to play the ball forward, picks out Kane. And Nuno Mendes winning it back and skip through the midfield. João Neves spreads it out to the right-hand side. And I think even 30 seconds in, we know that we're going to be in for more of the same. Doué working it back towards Marquinhos, who's hardly seen any league action at all in recent races. He's been playing Champions League football almost exclusively. And he punts the ball forward now over the Bayern back line, but it's safely watched by them all the way through for Manuel Neuer. This game brought to you in association with TNT Sports, the home of European football. 0-0 with a minute gone. And they call PSG still leading on aggregate.
Yeah, my mind goes back to last week, and Coutinho, I was expecting a little bit more from him in the game. I remember watching the game against both legs against Liverpool. He was instrumental in pulling the strings, but just didn't have the same impact in that game, really, tonight.
Neuer under a little bit of pressure, worked the ball forward, Kane then beaten, wins the 3 pitches on the edge of the centre circle. Continue with Luis Diaz, who's had a wonderful first season in Bavaria, 26 goals already, better than a goal every other game. Picked up the ball on the left and worked it all the way back for Neuer, then out towards Lima. He's misjudged it. It's going to give PSG the opportunity to be able to bring it forward. Started with Lima playing on the right, Stanisic over at left back for Bayern Munich. It's Lisa, London-born French international winger, ends up on the deck, challenging Nuno Mendes, play allowed to continue. And Marquinhos plays the ball through the midfield towards Vitinha, back goes in Pancho's, taking his 130th for the club tonight.
Yeah, our favourite referee, Jim, from the Forest game the other night, is letting everything go again, which is a really good sign for us.
Fabian Ruiz getting it for Kvaratskhelia, left-hand side of the penalty area, he's pulled back, and it's taken only 2.5 minutes. PSG already ahead and extending their aggregate advantage. Ousmane Dembele unmarked inside the penalty area. It's a great pass out towards Kvaratskhelia. And Dembele just stood and watched him. He peeled up towards the penalty spot. Nobody had picked him up. And you cannot do that. He's rattling into the top of the net. And 2.5 minutes in, PSG have gone up on the night. 6-4 on aggregate.
Absolutely top quality movement. Kvaratskhelia there, great running behind the back line. To's not stayed with him, outpaced him. But the important thing is, it was Dembele that finished, but he had 3 targets, Kvaratskhelia, in the box. PSG getting men forward very, very quickly. Really clinical finish as well. He's had a long time to look at that. The most important thing, keep it low, keep it under the bar, and he did exactly that.
A clinical finishing. The marking is absolutely appalling.
Well, it's appalling because they were turned round and they're making recovery runs, so they're out of sync as it was. So I think when you stop the action, they're actually nowhere near any of the PSG players in the box because they're attempting to run back towards their own goal.
So the aggregate lead is 2 goals again, as it was at time in the second half last week. At one stage they were 5-2 on aggregate PSG. They're 6-4 overall. This was never going to be a game that was going to be 0-0. As Neuer from the kick-off drives another one forward and Kane flicks it on towards the edge of the penalty area. But I think even the most optimistic Bayern supporter would have arrived at the ground tonight thinking, well, we're not going to keep a clean sheet. So we're going to have to score at least twice to win. I mean, they invariably do score at least twice. I mean, more often than not, they score at least 3. But to have considered a goal in that manner, just 2.5 minutes in, will be a chastening blow for them.
Well, the only thing that I'm surprised about is it took so long to score, Jim. I'm a little bit disappointed, to be honest.
So 1-0 to PSG on the night. 6-4 they lead on aggregate. We can't get back from Neuer, who will clear again. As we said, his personal record of the most clean sheets in the Champions League history, and now he'll drive it right-footed forward towards halfway, where Elise goes up for it. He's been beaten in the air by Nuno Mendes. Ball chested down and worked up the line by Upamecano, making a good run. Attacking the edge of the penalty area, will check back inside, shown inside by Pancho. Elise there offering some support, but it was well dealt with by Pancho, who's then gone to ground, just got caught after playing the ball. PSG have 3-15 yards outside their own penalty area. They also 2-0 aggregate lead, they're a goal up on the night.
Yeah, they are. And as I say, I'm just looking at PSG's press. They've got big numbers in it. They're not sitting back in any way, shape or form. When the ball goes back to Neuer, they're going to press very, very aggressively, getting numbers forward.
Sapanov's going to take this free kick. PSG goalkeeper, who's in the fluorescent yellow tonight, is dribbling it out towards the far side where it's big knocked away by Pavlovic. And after the throw that will be taken on the Bayern Munich left-hand side by Stanisic. Stanisic playing at left-back this evening. Liner playing on the right-hand side. Can't play either side. Conrad Liner, he came on at left-back in the early stages of the second half last week in that absorbing 5-4 encounter that we brought you on talkSPORT. But this start has been typical for Bayern. You look at the last 3 games. lost 5-4 in Paris. And then the weekend against Heidenheim, it was a much changed team, but that was a 3-3 draw. So they've let in 11 goals in the last 3 games. It's Bayern Munich.
Yeah, and that would be worrying for me if I was a Bayern fan looking to win this game. Bear in mind they're chasing a team that if you give them space, they'll score. And they'll score more than one.
We've already got the one. Scored by Ousmane Dembele on 3 minutes. We've played 7 now. You win talkSPORT. 1-0 to PSG. We're on the front foot again. PSG in the mood. 2 goals in the Champions League for him this season, and superb assist already tonight. Just make his way to a little bit of space on the left-hand touchline. The ball is knocked away from him. Kimmich guarding him forward. Elise unable to get too far. He's not down. He's got caught by Nuno Mendes. Claiming that he just played the ball. The yellow card was going to be shown by referee Schraub in error. Nuno Mendes, the first player in the book.
Yeah, Bayern have got to find a way of feeding these 2 wide players. They really have. Whether it's going through Kane to do so, or alternatively, yeah, he's caught him actually twice. With the right leg first off, he just caught him on the outside, on the heel, and then the following legs caught him on the foot. So he can't have any complaints, to be honest.
Can't have any complaints, and yet he's still got them.
He's got loads of them, yeah, you can tell by the look of his face. Trouble is now, he's on a yellow card. In 8 minutes of the game, he's on a yellow card against Elise. He's got his hands full.
So we're 8 minutes in. 1-0 to PSG. This is Bayern's first opportunity from a set piece. Joshua Kimmich raised his right arm above his head. He slapped the ball short. That gives Elise the chance to run, get into a central position. He fires it in, but too deep. And it goes over Sapanov's despairing grasp, but he was going well wide. And he's out of play for a goal kick. That's a real waste of luck.
Yeah, well, just looking at the rerun of that goal, the movement of Kvaratskhelia was magnificent. He's come in front of Tar. He's nicked it out wide, spun him behind him, and I've got to say, I've seen Milk turn quicker than that, chasing him in behind.
Dembele, big celebration player that played in Germany at one stage in his career. He's now got 4 goals in his last 4 games against Bayern. 2 in the first leg, 1 in the quarter-final of the Club World Cup, which PSG won comfortably in Atlanta back in July. It was a 2-0 victory. He scored again tonight, up to 7 in the Champions League. Ousmane Dembele, 19 all told for PSG this season. 9.5 minutes gone. Bayern 0, PSG 1. Manuel Neuer. Still going short 600 for Bayern Munich now. Driving the ball forward, flicked on. Balls behind Kane. Musiala is in there battling, so too Pavlovic. PSG can turn over possession and work it back to their keeper, Sapanov. The hotel goalkeeper rattles it over halfway. What by Jonathan Tah, held on. It's on by Stanisic, down towards Luis Diaz. Coming off the left flank, shown side by Marquinhos. Good ball in. Harry Kane couldn't quite react as it took a nick off Marquinhos. So that took it towards Sapanov. Very nearly found Kane. That was their best attempt so far, Bayern, but still travelling.
Yeah, I've got to say, I've been brought up by Brian Clough to get turned, and Musiala there was magnificent. Ball into feet, he's turned all in one movement, and the pass through the lines was just deflected away from Kane.
Tough. Down the line and straight out past Lima. For a throw, but will be taken on the PSG left. So Company acting as the ball boy. It's all black garb tonight, the familiar baseball cap. Couldn't help himself with some white trainers to go with the rest of the get-up. Marquinhos has got it. Plays it out to the right touchline. PSG flicking forward towards halfway. One back again. Musiala making his way into space. Elise's got it. Elise with a clever lead. Disguised ball to Kane, who's right for his shot. Blocked by Pancho. And then ricochets back outside the penalty area for Kvaratskhelia. Fabian Ruiz doing really well to keep his balance and bring it all over halfway. Into Kvaratskhelia, having his shirt pulled by Lima. His turn was brilliant, but he just couldn't get away from the Austrian. Such was the force of the pull of the shirt. And it's a free kick which the Georgians won on halfway for PSG. We talkSPORT 1-0.
Yeah, I must apologise to Tar. It's Luca Meccano that's getting pulled all over the place, and it's Kvaratskhelia just coming off the line, and just getting into the same line as him, and he's just drawing him out of position and twisting and turning, and he can't live with the pace of what he's trying to do with the ball.
Well, we've got 2 more European semi-finals for you tomorrow. We're in the second sitting for Villa against Nottingham Forest, the second leg of the Europa League semi-final, which is guaranteed to be absolutely extraordinary atmosphere there at Villa Park tomorrow. Cannot wait for that. It's our live game here on talkSPORT this time tomorrow. And over on talkSPORT 2, Crystal Palace hopefully making it through to their first ever European final. 3-1 lead to protect against Shakhtar Donetsk on talkSPORT 2 tomorrow.
Yeah, really enjoying PSG's press. You know, it goes back to any of the defenders. They're pressing aggressively with numbers.
Okay, on the turn, playing it out towards Michael Elise, the former Palace man, inside the penalty area. Sits the defender down, gets the ball in, has he won a corner? No. With a double ricochet. Back on the Elise, and the goal kick has been given to Savinov of PSG, despite the protestations of everybody in red, led by Harry Kane. Just seeing a replay of it now, and is the decision correct? The answer is no. Should have been a corner. But I can certainly understand after it's hit both players 2 or 3 times how the referee might have misjudged it, but he did get it wrong. Very easy when you see it slowed down frame by frame.
Well, we played there in Belgium, I've got to say. He faked across it and then just let it run, and it absolutely flummoxed the defender. He's done well to recover his position.
Good play now by Musiala, trying to get away from Fabian Ruiz. And it goes again for Elise. Elise against Nuno Mendes, you feel could be one of the key battles tonight, particularly with the PSG defender already on a yellow card. Ball goes out to Stanisic, back from him to Luis Diaz. Colombia towards halfway. Pavlovic, the deepest line of the midfielders for Bayern Munich. Tar with Meccano, Liner, now Elise in space. Elise has continued his run forward, but it was a rare ball pass to try and find him. Though Elise didn't give it up as dead. PSG won the second ball and cleared, but only as far as Kimmich. Too much on his ball into Kane. Sails through the penalty area and will be cleared by Zaire Emery. At least it should have been, but Diaz has won it back. Diaz dragging it past Marquinhos into the penalty area. And Elise couldn't quite get the touch to bundle it in over the line. Liner picks it up now on the right-hand side of the box. Musiala has gone down injured. The play will continue around him. And now Kimmich goes down, and Kvaratskhelia can bring it away. Now this is where the Parisians can be devastating on the counter-attack. Still goes Kvaratskhelia, he's inside the area. Pass it for Meccano, almost trying to do the whole thing himself, and ends up winning a corner.
I'll tell you what, this side of the pitch, Elise to our right-hand side, Kvaratskhelia to the left, going in opposite directions. Absolutely magnificent, the pair of them. And up the other end there, the block from Mendes was absolutely brilliant. It was about 6 yards out, and he's got across and got a brilliant, brilliant block on Elise's finish.
He already has the makings of being a tough night, this Meccano. Up against Kvaratskhelia, you alluded to it earlier. Musiala is still down and in need of a little bit of treatment. I think the Bayern players are unhappy that they didn't get a penalty. He was in there in the immediate aftermath of that shot from Elise that Mendes blocked. And he was following it, trying to get to the ball. He never had it under control. And Coutinho protecting the space with his arms, and I think he caught Musiala in the ribcage. The VAR is markedly better, but there's no sign as yet that there's anything other than a cursory inspection. Certainly no penalty given. Musiala's okay, having received a little bit of treatment. He comes off the obligatory 30 seconds, and Bayern have the first corner of the night to defend, which will be taken on the PSG.
Yeah, the game's very, very open, as we thought. It's like PSG capitalising on their break, and they look as though they feed the ball out to Kvaratskhelia. There's going to be big problems for Bayern. When their opportunity comes, Mendes was good enough to block.
Corner taken short, darting running towards the near post, then whipped in by Nuno Mendes and cleared by Liner. Perhaps this is how they set the circle. Everybody's misjudged that bounce, and just for a moment, if Elise could have got to it, it would have been 2 against 1, but he couldn't. It's kind of awkwardly for him, and he couldn't get a touch on it at all. Kvaratskhelia down the line from Fabian Ruiz. It's the 0-2 making his way towards the edge of the penalty area. He's played it back. Now towards Ruiz again. Let's go deeper towards halfway. Nuno Mendes. Back into Vitinha. Nacho. PSG with the ball inside their own half at the moment, but then very quickly play three progressive passes into Bayern territory. They then go back a second time. Through Zaire Emery, Bayern apply the press, following him back. Marquinhos has the ball in the right back position for a moment, and he's been able to play a lofty pass, get himself out of trouble. Jonathan Tah, the former Leverkusen man, could bring it down in the midfield. Kane in this familiar, slightly deeper role, off where you would ordinarily expect the number 9 to play. Slipping up the play again. And then Elise stumbles as he comes out towards him, and Doué, having won it back, then turned into trouble. And Lima's unlucky that he's got the last touch and he's gone out for a PSG throw.
See, some of Upamecano's problems is the fact that Lima is just surging on, sort of inside run, if you like, inside Elise. And when the ball gets turned over, it's a one-on-one scenario and it's a mismatch.
Lima showing his man at right back, on the right side of centre half. All of PSG's attacking play at the moment coming through those positions. And I suppose an additional defensive responsibility on Kimmich, but he's not coming back and offering too much cover either from his central midfield position. You would probably expect that he would be the man that would drop in to offer that support when Lima's given the license to push forward. Hasn't worked like that so far. Ball comes out towards Elise, and the near side flags. Well, it's a handball by Elise, whether he thought it was pushed by him or Nuno Mendes, but it's a free kick to PSG, who leading 1-0 on the night. They have done since the third minute. They're 6-4 up on aggregate. I guarantee, absolutely guarantee, that there are more goals than that.
We all hope you're right. Yeah, as I say, the ball's been fed out to Elise on a good number of occasions. He's just got to secure it that little bit more, put some pressure on Mendes, ask some questions of him now he's on that booking.
Free kick has been given to Bayern over on their left-hand touchline with 19 minutes in. And it's 1-0 to PSG. Kimmich, blonde-haired veteran, who's going to be hitting 500 Bayern games very early next season. Getting it forward. Ruiz dealing with it. The blonde-bearded Lima picks the pressure on. Ruiz just lets it all out of play. It's a throw that will take it down by the corner flag in the left-back position for PSG. Luis Enrique will be thrilled with how the opening 20 minutes has gone, but confident as he patrols up and down the technical area of his black baseball cap. Might not have faced some fun, though, but he knows that there's plenty of work to do.
Yeah, this wasn't the script he wrote for himself and the team, that is for sure. In his dreams last night, it was an early goal for Bayern, and then the ascendancy grew from there.
Now Vitinha has tripped over the ball, and Kane has run it back. Kimmich then to try and take advantage of that. Pancho went shoulder to shoulder with him and gets it back. Now Kvaratskhelia scoots it down the line. There's Doué taking on Jonathan Tah. Tah giving him a little shove, and then Kane was back there. Fouled in. Referee's played the advantage. Kvaratskhelia onto his right foot, deflected, which took the pace off the shot, and it goes straight into the grasp of Neuer, who pulls it out quickly. All of a sudden, Bayern on the front foot. Kane making some 50, 60 yards. Not the best ball from it. Hit Vitinha. But bangs it back Luis Diaz's way. Diaz trying to work an angle for himself inside the penalty area. Left-footed ball comes in from Stanisic. Elise peels away towards the far post. Lima pops up on the edge of the box. Right-footed ball clipped in from Kimmich. Pacho can send a commanding header away that's helped on by Doué. Back to Upamecano. To Tah. Hasn't been a disappointment. The only 20 minutes of this game. But Bayern with work to do. 2 down on aggregate at the moment. Luis Diaz twisting, turning, firing, but one.
It's again same format, and I'd probably exonerate Mendes from this statement. The white flags are causing problems in either flank. Mendes, after that booking, has sort of steadied the ship a little bit and done quite well. what he's done well against Elise, he stopped Elise getting the ball and getting a run at him, so he's been right on top of him for the vast majority of the occasions he's received the ball.
Bayern creating a number of half chances and a few oohs and ahs moments from the edge of the penalty area, but nothing substantial as yet. We're on talkSPORT, we're midway through the first half. For the last 20 minutes, PSG have been ahead. Third minute goal from Dembele, beautifully assisted by Kvaratskhelia. The Parisians have a 2-goal aggregate lead. It's Bayern play it forward. Kane's offside. Just a little telltale break in the stride from Kane, which seemed to indicate that he thought he was offside. The replay suggests that he was maybe a little bit closer than he thought. He would have realised he probably got too early compared to Pancho, the nearest defender, but was oblivious to Nuno Mendes in the left-back position. Must have come really close to actually playing him off. The free kick was given. It's headed on down the line, and it goes off from Upamecano and out for a throw to be taken on the PSG left-hand side. Last holders to reach the final, Real Madrid, back in 2018, when they had that run towards the end of the last decade of real sustained success in this competition. PSG hoping to break that after 8 years, get through to the final to take on Arsenal, a game that is live on talkSPORT in Budapest on May the 30th. Join us for that. Good play by João Neves to working through the midfield, out to PSG on the right. Zaire Emery's had a pretty stiff defensive examination up against Luis Diaz so far. A player that is much better going forward, and his versatility means they've been pressed back in at right back in the absence of Kimi tonight, but sure prefer to be in the midfield three. Bayern win it back, they've got to win more inside their own. 24 minutes left.
Yeah, I think from Bayern's point of view, they've got to make more use of Lima when he gets forward. If you're going to gamble and surge your right back on and get advanced time and leave a gap behind you, your centre-half isn't filling against PSG's best player, you've got to make sure that you're really creating a problem for PSG. He's not at this moment in time. And from what I'm seeing, Jim, I think PSG have got at least one more goal in them. So as we stand at the moment, it's a 2-goal advantage. I see it more as a 3-goal advantage. And so for Bayern to go through, they've got to get a minimum of 3 goals in my eyes.
Well, they have scored 3 or more in 37 of their 51 games this season, which is utterly remarkable. They scored 2 or more, and at the moment, 2 would take them to extra time. At the moment, they scored 2 or more in all but 3 games that they played in League and Cup throughout the course of this campaign. But haven't really created even a single noteworthy chance so far.
Oh, they had that one block probably by Mendes was the closest they've come, Jim, but you're right, I think they've dealt with him quite well. Coutinho's pulling the strings a little bit in midfield. He's got on the ball a little bit more than I saw him in Paris, which is good because he can set the tempo of this game and take the sting out of anything that Bayern might want to do.
25 minutes in, 3 shots apiece and only 1 on target, which went to PSG. That sounds as though it's completely at odds with what we saw in the first leg, but it hasn't felt like that. It's been a similar mould to the game. PSG have a player down, play goes on as Nuno Mendes lies face down on the turn. Brucey sprayed an errant ball out towards the far side, so there was no advantage. It's going to be a throw to Bayern to restart play.
Yeah, I think just the coming together of 2 players there. Mendes got a really good understanding with his wide player. A little give and go there, off he went. And I think he put the brake on wisely.
Upamecano came in and won the ball and then braced himself. Upamecano, knowing that there was going to be contact, he protected his head, understandably and rightly, but in doing so, pushing his hands up, he's actually flicked Nuno Mendes, who was off balance, into an awkward landing, and he's come down with all of his weight off balance, coming down onto his right ankle. It would have been a difficult fall for him. He's okay. Play restarts. Bayern Munich Still trailing 1-0. You with talkSPORT. Tomorrow night, the big one. Forest and Villa. You can take that lead given to them by Chris Wood last week. Get through to the Europa League final. Live on talkSPORT this Saturday. Here's Michael Elise. Turning and yes, it's in the bar with a rising shot. Only just went over. As Safanov was beaten. That's the clearest opportunity for Bayern so far. Michael Elise very nearly took it. It's been a goal in the WSL in Crawley. Here's Angelina Kelly.
It is Brighton 1, Arsenal 0. A goal from Fuka Tsunoda. A free kick came in from 35 yards out, pinged around, found her on the edge of the box, and she struck it into the near corner. It's Brighton 1, Arsenal 0.
Now that's coming up to half-time in that WSL game, and if it stays like that, Manchester City will be champions. Arsenal have to win that game tonight. If they don't, then Manchester City will be champions. Goal for Brighton. Might just hasten the coronation. This one, 28 minutes in. PSG leading it by a goal.
Yeah, that last effort there by Elise, he's just done everything right. He's just opened the goal up, and he's not sent it wide enough to curl back in, I don't think, and just got too much pace on it. He'll be disappointed with that player of his standard.
Yeah, he's had a good goal scoring season himself. But Michael Elise won his last 4 Champions League ties. He's in his last 3 games all told. Most prolific season of his career. He's up to 21 now. Spin in the air here by Nuno Mendes. Knew he wasn't going to win that, and really made any challenge. And Nuno Mendes is handled it. Now he could be off. He's had a yellow card already, and the Bayern players are appealing. But that is a deliberate handball, and should be a second yellow.
He's given it the other way.
He has given it the other way. But it's a clear handball. Absolute blatant handball by Nuno Mendes. What has the referee seen there to give as an earlier infringement, a foul by Lima? He said there was,
I think, a handball by Lima. He's suggesting that Lima, well, this will be interesting. Bar's going to have to look at these.
The people for Bar can't. Bar can't have a look at his second yellow card.
That is interesting. It's as though the referee, I thought he'd give the free kick Bayern's way to start with, then he realised he's got to send the player off, potentially, and change his mind.
Wow, that will be a talking point at the end of the game. I can't understand what the referee saw to give the free kick to PSG, what he thinks he saw, even if he didn't think it was a handball. I can only imagine that he saw the ball hitting a hand and thought it was Lima's hand that it hit and not Nuno Mendes, but you've got other officials who can tell it, but the VAR cannot have a look at it and re-referee the game for a second possible offence. Not yet. It's coming in, but it's not there yet. Here's Luis Diaz inside the penalty area. So Bayern stung potentially by a feeling of injustice. Ball forward towards Pavlovic. Good stretch from him. Takes it up against Zaire Emery down towards the corner flag. 1-0 PSG lead, but should they be down to 10? Ball inside the area, scooped away by Safanov. Very unorthodox goalkeeping. Then, the clearance inside the penalty area hits a hand. And Bayern again have complained. They feel that this should be a penalty. The VAR can have a look at this. And will be doing so.
Well, I've got to say, it was just hook clear. I'm not sure his teammate could get out of the way, but he's had his arm away from his body almost. So this, well, the referee seems to just make gut decisions straight away without actually giving himself a couple of seconds just to think about it.
So it was Vitinha clearing from inside his penalty area after Safanov's scoop save. João Neves trying to get out of the way, has turned his body, but his left arm is out, and the ball hits the arm. Now, the directive, in terms of European matches, is if the ball hits the arm that is away from the body, a penalty has to be given. Doesn't matter whether it's his player or one of the opposition players that has hit it at it. I don't understand with the way that Rossetti, the head of European refereeing, wants the game to be officiated. How VAR haven't got involved with that and given a penalty?
Well, there's been two very contested decisions here. Both handballs, both have gone against Bayern, and they'll feel very, very aggrieved about that. I'm astounded at that a little bit. I don't think he could have done much. The ball, the velocity of the ball, Jim, I don't think he could have done much to get his hand out of the way. Probably because it was his own teammate. I don't know whether that's played a part in VAR thinking to themselves, well, hang on, it was his own teammate.
When you see some of the penalties that are in European competition for handball, what they want is a consistency. There's a yellow card is shown here to one of the Bayern players. There's a free kick is given to Stanisic, who is booked, is it? Is it Tsar, the challenge? They were both converging on Doué. The yellow card was shown. It's hard to see exactly which of the pair got it. I think it's Stanisic that's earned the yellow card. But they want this consistency. And they feel that the only way they can get that is if the ball hits an arm, it is a handball. But that hasn't been the way that this game has been policed.
It's been incredible. I mean, obviously we had this referee last week at Forest who made the game a fantastic game. Tonight,
PSG almost scored a second. So free kick came in. Neuer had to throw himself to the left-hand side to deny João Neves' header winding the bottom right-hand corner. One straight ball over the top. Not defended well at all. And he raced onto it. Sent the header towards the bottom right-hand corner. João Neves saw his effort. Brilliantly saved by the 40-year-old Manuel Neuer.
it certainly was. It's bounced down off the turf, skidded off the turf, added pace to it. Neuer's got a fingertip to it. Two Paris players coming in at the far post. If he'd have got a stronger fingertip, they would have just bounced it into the goal. It's a game we got. Debris just coming on the pitch for the fans, aimed at the corner taker.
Yeah, the Bayern fans not at all happy with the decisions that have and haven't been made. And so there was barrage of stuff coming down. And Manuel Neuer went across the left-hand corner flag and told them, don't do it. It's hard time that's being wasted here by you doing that. Dembele's going to take the ball. He's knocked it short again. PSG a goal up. 2 up on aggregate. Looking for more. Vitinha fires it in. And it's kind of back off Elise and out of play for another corner, which is PSG's third. Plenty of controversy with the 2 handballs that weren't given. VAR couldn't have a look at the first one, but should have had a look at the second. Sure, they did. Decided that it wasn't a clear and obvious error on the field. We'll be talking about that at length as the night goes on, particularly if Bayern end up being eliminated. They feel they should have had a penalty. I think they're right. Nuno Mendes, right-footed effort, takes a deflection and just drops into the hands of Neuer, who catches it and then punts it upfield as quickly as he can, trying to get the ball over the top. And he's broken Lise's way after a nondescript defensive header. He just tried to scoop it over the top of the back line for the run from Diaz, and he got it all wrong. He sailed straight out for a throw. It's half-time at Broadfield Stadium in the WSL. Here's Angelina Kelly.
It's Brighton 1, Arsenal 0. The home side take a deserved lead with Buka Sinona's goal that was deflected off Arsenal's Kim Little. Brighton have been so impressive, bringing a great level of intensity. Meanwhile, Arsenal at times have looked sloppy. They do not look themselves and need to find a win somehow to stop Manchester City being crowned WSL champions tonight. Half-time, Brighton 1, Arsenal 0.
Thank you, Angelina. Bayern in possession, trailing 1-0 on the night. The third minute goal from Dembele. On the front foot here, Stanisic sending a deep ball inside the penalty area. Kane couldn't get his head to it. He let the ball hit his chest and just guided it down towards Jonathan Tah outside the penalty area. Fall through here to the lively Elise, who seemingly has had more of the ball than anybody else. So possession in 50s to Bayern, which is about what it was in the first leg as well. Now towards Elise. Ball from Elise again towards the edge of the box. Half clear. Flick back by Pavlovic. Tah. And Pavlovic again. He's lost out this time. Doué back in a defensive position will find Zaire Emery. Marquinhos completes the clearance. getting forward towards halfway. It's met there by Upamecano, but it was another poor touch from a player who's struggled tonight. Fabi Ruiz is making a great run forward out the inside left channel for PSG. Can they find it? The long cross blocked by Tar. Come back out for Rashidania, trying to turn again and get it in, and it's deflected away and goes out for another corner. On the counter, they look devastated.
They certainly do. And I just get the impression with this game, unless Bayern get a goal before half-time, which at the moment I'm not sure they're looking as though they're going to do, I think this game could go beyond them, because they're very, very difficult. I think there's definitely another PSG goal in the game at some stage.
8 minutes to go to half-time. Game that has been thrilling and controversial. PSG leading 1-0. Corner again, taking short, swept inside the box, handed away by Upamecano. Outside the Bayern penalty area is brought down by the yellow boots of Nuno Mendes, who has been booked, so Stanisic for Bayern. Zaire Emery's having to work it all the way back to Stepanov. Stepanov doesn't take his time, he just strikes forward onto it and larrups it upfield. And it's Tar. Controls it on the end of his own penalty area and then finds Neuer. Neuer's side putting it out towards the liner. Liner getting it full through the midfield where it's flicked on by Elise. Cleared though by the PSG midfield. Liner with plenty of time to run round it. Goes back to his goalkeeper again. Neuer has to get a hastier clearance out towards halfway. PSG winning a lot of second ball.
Yeah, they pressed pretty well, and long balls up, they've competed pretty well for it as well, which has stopped Bayern getting any ascendancy on the ball.
And flicked it back then towards Pavlovic. Fell for a PSG player who's then gone down. And the free kick has been given to João Neves as well. João Neves, the player that got away with the handball inside the penalty area. Now, don't get me wrong. I think every football fan wouldn't want that to be a penalty, but it's just the way that the laws are interpreted in European games. There's got to be a level of consistency. I think in 9 out of 10 Champions League times we've seen this season, that would be given as a penalty. When it's whacked at you from close range and you're trying to get out of the way of it and it hits your arm, I think that most fans would agree it should be a penalty, but that's not the way that the laws are written. Ball goes out towards Diaz. Diaz, left-hand side of the penalty area, has ended up trying to cross it, fell over the ball, defended again by one Zaire Emery, and it goes over the line out of play. For a goal kick to PSG. 5 to go to half-time, and the British did 2 of them everything.
Yeah, Diaz has had a couple of good opportunities there. He's gone past his man, he's left him. And I think he's better off trying to stand one up to the far post with his left foot. Excuse me, his left foot. What he's trying to do is cut it back on his right too often, I think.
Anyway, chases the ball, but he did his best to keep in with a little header down the touch line. Headed it back into play that just gone over the line now. It's a throw that will be taken necessarily from the right place by Conrad Lima, which is the point that Luis Enrique is trying to make. Lima takes the throw, goes straight back to him again. Good strength from the Bayern players to win it back and kill it. But Upamecano hitting it with the top of the boots. A great ball out towards the left-hand side for Diaz. Diaz travelling inside the penalty area, trying to take on Marquinhos on the outside, but his touch was too heavy and Stepanov very great for the pounce on the loose ball.
Yeah, he's run at him, he slowed him up, and they dealt with him pretty well there, made him go on the outside. I think he's just tried to drag it with his right foot, and just got too much on the drag.
It's the Bayern Munich team that won their first 16 games of the season in all competitions. They're 2 without a win. And coming into tonight, that's their longest winless streak of the campaign. First time that they've gone 2 without a win. At the moment, they're going to be going 3 without a win on a night where they need a victory to, at the very least, take this down to extra time. 1 goal win does just that. Winning by 2 or more, and they've got the job done inside 90 minutes. At the moment, they trail with all the possession they've had. Elise, who's got closer than anybody, and those dressed in red, feeding forward towards Musiala. Musiala getting to the byline. Good ball in. Stepanov got an important hand to it to knock it away from Kane's path. initial clearance is played back. Just whacks it upfield. Stanisic. Feels that goes back to Neuer, who will control and plays it out. It's really good. Lugano fell over. Pavlovic was back there to rescue it for Bayern. And they'll work it back to Kimmich and now out towards Leipzig.
I'll tell you what I like about PSG's play. They'll play through you if it's comfortable to play through you. If it ever goes back to goal, it goes back to the defender, it's a little bit tight to you. They go from back to front, don't they? So they're never going to give the ball away cheaply.
Here's Elise. Lima making a good run. He's got 3 to try and pick out. He's overhit the cross. Diaz at the far post. Retraces his steps. Heads out towards the far touchline. Can't keep it in. And it's a throw to PSG. That was a better move. Elise playing the right pass and taking Nuno Mendes with him, creating space for Lima. Nuno Mendes just enough to force Lima to hurry the cross, and then it's too late.
Yeah, we're almost, you know, a game and a half into this 2 legs now, and nothing's really fell for Harry Kane in the box. You know, he got his penalty last time out, but nothing's fell for him in the box, a tapping or anything of that nature, and that was certainly the case in Paris as well.
Elisa. Forward was Pavlovic. Here is Harry Kane. Scored each of the last 6 Champions League games. Scores again tonight, the first Bayern player ever to score in 6 successive knockout games in the Champions League for Bayern. Fabian Ruiz is running back. A lot of his good work's been off the ball tonight. Elisa. Cleared again. As far as Kimmich, who did well to slide in and regain possession. Back out the liner, back from Upamecano to Elise. Oh, clever back heel flick from him. Musiala will take it on. Musiala, good save from Safanov. Dive to his right, beats it away. Brilliant from Bayern Munich.
Yeah, great interchange on the edge of the box. And when Musiala drove at the heart of defence, he seemed to just open up for him. Done really well. And a cute back heel from Elise set him off. Goalkeeper, great carry, I've got to say. Strong man.
Pavlovic back heel support for Musiala, who tries again from a more difficult position of fires one across the face of goal. Not too far wide in the top right-hand corner.
Well, I don't know why he's not trying to curl it from where he was. He's gone for power and he's just, he's got where he's hit it straight beyond the far post.
So an injury this season. There's Musiala, only 20 games. Just a couple of goals in this competition for him. Kane getting it forward, but behind Lina. They played another progressive run up the right-hand side. And it's clear. We've got 30 seconds in the first half to go. There's going to be a little bit of time to be added on for a couple of injuries, and then the VAR that wasn't. And was Elisa. Elisa coming in off the right flank. Is he fouled? Referee says no. Bad challenge by Kvaratskhelia. Impact Elise at all. Bayern have still got him inside the penalty area with Musiala. He's worked his way back out, gets himself into a shooting position, and flushed his lines again. The standing applauding, liking what he's seeing. Bayern much more fluid going forward, creating better chances. Still not forcing Safanov into a difficult save. He's made a couple of important ones, mine. Going 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. But it's still been 1-0 to PSG.
Yeah, I've got to say, all the talk was about this attacking flair in both teams, but I think PSG have defended pretty well, Jim. You know, they've had their goal opened up a couple of times, but in the main they've got blocks, got bodies in the way in certain areas where they've needed to.
You can see the 21 goals in their 15 Champions League ties so far this season, PSG. Almost a goal and a half a game. With just a little over 45 minutes to go in this time. You know, provided they don't concede twice in the second half, be in the final. This semi-final will be repeated, but when it really matters most, in Budapest on the 30th of May. Live here on talkSPORT. Arsenal waiting for the winners at the moment. It's going to be PSG. Long way to go, though, particularly in this game. Elise getting it for Kimmich. Doing well to control it. Stabs it back from the outside of the boot to the line. Down towards Elise. Can't beat his man Fabian Ruiz. And he goes for a throw that That Reimer's in a hurried attack. Time against the Bayern Munich at the end of this first half. Tar to Stanisic. 20 seconds to go. Stanisic's ball forward hit Diaz and a ricochet back out towards the touchline. It's well rescued by the Croatian who very nearly got the pass right for Musiala's run. Now Pavlovic has got it. Square to his right-hand side. Kimmich taking it on. Was caught. And it's a free kick to Bayern. If there's time to take it. Australia knocked it away and is going to get booked for delaying the restart. Ball on the pitch for a moment as well. So Australia in the book. Free kick to Bayern. Last attack of the first half. And a chance to load the penalty area.
Yeah, this will be their last chance. I think PSG will be delighted to get in with a clean sheet at half time. It's stopped the onslaught of Bayern, which really they dealt with pretty well.
Giving to take the free kick. Swung inside the penalty area. Kane going up for it. Sends a header. Just wide of the far post. Two or three players attacking the same ball. It might actually have been Jonathan Tah that got the last touch on that. It was. He's sent the header wide. And we're going to go in at half-time as we did last week with PSG. A goal up on the night. Tonight, it is only one. Dembele with a third winning goal, the difference between the two teams. After that, controversy. Nuno Mendes already booked. Probably should have picked up a second yellow card for a deliberate handball. The referee, I think, in a case of mistaken identity, gave the free kick the wrong way. And then moments after that, the clearance from Vitinha clearly hit the arm of João Neves inside his own penalty area. And the referee wasn't interested by that either. Bayern will feel hard done by. But PSG have been the better side going forward, leading 1-0 on the night, 6-4 on aggregate.
Harry Kane remonstrating with the referee at half-time there. Clearly, as you can see by his body language, feeling like they should have got a penalty for handball. But that's where we've got with the rules with handball. That's where we've got with football. Best attackers in the world begging for penalties when a player clears the ball into the arm of their teammate. We're better than that. Football's better than that. These two sides are better than that. And Bayern Munich can certainly produce better than they produced in that first 45 minutes. And that probably, Stuart Pearce, is the main frustration from them. In attack, Elise curled a shot just over. Musiala forced a good save from Savinov. And we just saw Tar head just wide. But we all expected more from Bayern going forward, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we did. As I say, I think the early goals really hurt them and rocked them a little bit. But they've had opportunities to get the ball into Elise and Diaz. And Diaz is sort of trying to cut back once he's gone on the outside and got daylight. He should really stand a couple up, in my opinion. And obviously Elise, the one cutting inside. And I think from a defensive aspect, PSG have done reasonably well, actually, to nullify Bayern.
They got the goal, which was the most important thing on the evening. Who was going to score first? It's changed the dynamic completely. Well, it would have done either way. Bayern obviously are going to need to go for this in the second half. They need to get at least 2 goals, but to concede in the manner they did at the time they did, just 2 minutes into the game, Ousmane Dembele putting PSG 2 up on aggregate, it was way too easy. We spoke about the defences before the game. We didn't think they'd be defending that bad.
No, the defending was poor, to be fair. You've got to hand it to Kvaratskhelia. He's done brilliant. He set it wide and spun him behind. Upamecano was struggling to keep pace with him and get turned. And once he got turned and beyond the Bayern back line, the recovery runs were slow. But you've got to hand it to PSG. They had 3 players arriving in the box waiting for the cross. All relatively unmarked and a really good finish. You had plenty of time to look at that and you can get them wrong, trust me.
What do you make of their performance? They've had 41% possession, they've had 6 attempts at goal. Bayern have had 9, obviously, with 59% possession. Is this already, I think, from Luis Enrique and his side, as good as it gets in terms of an away performance?
I still feel as though, and I said in the first half commentary, I still feel as though PSG have got another goal in them, which is daunting for Bayern, if truth be known. The reason I say that is Bayern have got a flood onto them now, and if you leave Kvaratskhelia, unmarked or even one-on-one, he's going to cause you a big problem.
There have been some controversial moments in that first half. Harry Kane, obviously, as we mentioned, protesting it at the break. Firstly, Nuno Mendes was on a yellow card He seemed to handball deliberately, but it was Conrad Lima who was adjudged to have handled it. The free kick went the other direction. Maybe there was a handball in the build-up to it, but play had gone on for a couple of seconds before it hit Mendes's arm. A very controversial decision with him already on a yellow card. And then shortly after that, as I mentioned, Vitinha blasting the ball at the arms of João Neves, who had his arms in a pretty high position. It was a huge penalty shout inside the Allianz Arena. How lucky were PSG to get away with that one?
I think on both calls they were very, very fortunate. What I would say from the referee's point of view, and we saw him referee at Forest last week, and I thought he'd done a brilliant job. I think he's made the decisions on both occasions really, really quick. You know, sometimes it pays to give yourself a split second just to let it sink in. He's given decisions straight away, and you think you've not given yourself any thinking time on this.
You've been a manager, Stuart. How do you play things? If you're Vincent Kompany, at some point he's going to have to go for it. Will he be content with where things are, at least for another 10, 15 or so minutes? Or do you think the start of the second half he'll be changing something drastically and giving himself as long as possible to get that goal?
Well, I don't think he'll be particularly happy. On what I've seen, if I was in the technical area for Bayern, I'd be very nervous, leaving ourselves open for the counter-attack. PSG have proved that they can hurt you with the counter-attack, but you've got to be assured that you've got players behind you, sat behind you, that are going to improve what you've got on the pitch already. So I don't think you make changes at half-time, but they need an early goal cue.
When do they push?
I'll be looking around the 60-minute mark. If they haven't scored, then they're going to have to shake the pack up in some way, shape or form, whether it be a change of line-up or a change, a tactical shape or even substitutes.
You have to say we've seen plenty of quality on the night. No, it hasn't yet lived up to that incredible first leg, but plenty of quality shown from both sides. The moment of real quality in front of goal came from Ousmane Dembele just 2 minutes into the game. He has put Paris Saint-Germain 2 goals up on aggregate, and they have 1 foot in back-to-back Champions League finals. You're listening to the Champions League live on talkSPORT with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We're here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
Kick off on talkSPORT with Ladbrokes. 18+ gambleaware.org.
Switching to Vodafone full fibre broadband is now as easy as pie. Oh, freshly baked. It's a walk in the park. Hello, little fella. It's like taking candy from a baby. Come on, as if I'd do that. With One Touch Switch, it's easy. We sort everything out for you. We even contact your current provider. Plus, we'll help towards leaving fees. Switch today to full fibre broadband with Vodafone.
Up to £200 credit to cover leaving fees. More information and terms at vodafone.co.uk/broadband.
Welcome to the Money Supermarket Training Academy,
Where we push our new recruits through their paces,
training them to be their very best at saving the nation money,
turning them into deal finding hot shots,
and teaching them how to come up with fantastic rewards for our customers.
Is this the
Money Supermarket Training Academy? Absolutely. Come in.
Money Supermarket, where better off begins. Download the app today. Rewards include prepaid MasterCard, qualifying purchase with logged-in account, 18+ UK only. See site for T's and C's.
The future is unpredictable at times, but the Open University are the experts in online learning, allowing you to fit study around your life. What's more, you'll have support from dedicated tutors every step of the way. Now, suddenly the possibilities are open. Search the Open University to find out more. The Open University, the future is open.
On day 3 of leftovers for lunch, have a day off. Switch it up with a double cheeseburger for $2.49 on the McDonald's Saver menu.
Leftovers left the chat.
Talk about Saver satisfaction. Served from 11 a.m. After participation may vary. These are packet delivery orders, subject to availability. Let's go. At Mr. Hugh, we tell it how it is.
when players win, they are cute.
Like the Portuguese prima donna loves polishing statues himself. But when players lose, they hate you, like a last-minute VAR controversy. Mr. Q, the casino you love to hate. And you'll love 100 free spins on Big Bass Splash with your first deposit. Play at mrq.com or on the app. UK 18 plus residents only. Minimum £10 first deposit. 10p per spin. Free spins must be used within 48 hours of depositing. All winnings paid in cash. T's and C's apply. Play safely.
Jim White and Simon Jordan on talkSPORT. Mid-morning radio that's up for the job.
I'm hot under the collar with this.
Complete sports talk. Rapid setting opinion.
I still think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered.
Oh no, come on. Big names, all backed up.
David Moyes, John Hart, Ian Rush.
Jim White and Simon Jordan delivered tomorrow morning from 10 on talkSPORT by Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com.
Champions League live on talkSPORT with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
Initiate adrenaline pumps. Kick-off live on talkSPORT.
Well, since the Champions League was rebranded in 1992, Bayern Munich have failed to overturn a first leg semi-final deficit on 5 previous occasions. At this point, it's heading to 6. They trail 6-4 on aggregate. Ousmane Dembele with the only goal of the night. Paris Saint-Germain, as it stands, heading to a Champions League final against Arsenal. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on talkSPORT with Ladbrokes. Bet on this season's Champions League action live tonight. Visit ladbrokes.com. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
So Bayern to win on the night, 21-10 now. They need at least 2 goals. The draw, 12-5. PSG to win this leg is evens. Bayern to qualify is now 14-5, while PSG are 9-2 on. And for Harry Kane to score next is 9-2. Haven't really had a look in thus far with those. The latest odds with Ladbrokes, it's 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on talkSPORT with Ladbrokes. Bet on this season's Champions League action live tonight. Visit ladbrokes.com. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
This game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. Let's check in on the WSL. It looks like Manchester City are closing in on the title without even playing. The latest from Broadfield with Angelina Kelly.
Yes, it's Brighton 1, Arsenal 0. Props to Brighton. They deserve the lead from Fuka Sonoda's deflected goal. Despite making 7 changes, you wouldn't think it. Brighton have been brilliant and have maintained some great levels of pressure. But let's see if they can keep it up, because Arsenal, despite looking out of sync in the first half, have come out very strong since the break. René Slagers has made a half-time change, bringing on second in the Ballon d'Or, Mariana Caldente, for Victoria Pelova. And the side are testing the Brighton keeper. Caitlin Ford's shot has just forced her into a brilliant fingertip save, sending the ball over a crossbar. And as things stand, the WSL title is heading to Manchester City tonight. Their players have decided to watch this game together and will be somewhere in Manchester, I'm sure, enjoying what they've seen so far. It's Brighton 1, Arsenal 0.
Angelina, I want to ask you, did you expect more from Arsenal tonight, knowing that they needed to win? And do you see any ill effects from the weekend and that defeat to Lyon in the Champions League?
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like a little bit of a hangover from that Champions League game. They made 5 changes at the beginning, and Arsenal just looked completely off their game. There was times in the first half where they couldn't even string a pass together. I think whatever René Slagers has said at half-time has worked, because they are looking a lot stronger. They are knocking at the door. But considering what's on the line here, I agree. I did expect a little bit more from Arsenal tonight.
Okay, Angelina Kelly will be keeping you right up to date as Arsenal make it into the box. The ball's around the goalkeeper, cleared away though from the Brighton defence. And as Angelina said, Manchester City nearing that title for the first time in a decade in the WSL. For us here on talkSPORT, the second half on the way. Currently Bayern Munich 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1. Ousmane Dembele's goal means PSG leads 6-4 on aggregate. Let's head to your commentary team. Stuart Pearce. Firstly, the former Nottingham Forest legend. I just wonder how PSG and Luis Enrique manage things now, because I think most sides would feel 2 goals up, 45 minutes to play, obviously in a difficult arena against a very good side, but they would feel like they could possibly see this out. But how Paris Saint-Germain play doesn't really lend itself to that. Did you see them possibly trying to take the sting out of the game from here on out? Is it possession? Is that how they do it?
Well, I think Coutinho will play a big part in that. I think he's got on the ball and dictated the tempo of the game a little bit when it's been needed. The other side of that is what I would say is if you ask me, how do you stop Bayern maybe having a resurgence in the second half? Block up the edges, the two wide areas, so you're going to ask your midfield players or one of your centrals just to get over and double up on occasion and stop Elise and Diaz cutting inside and opening your goal up. That will be key to me. Whether they will do or not, that is your guess.
I'm not sure how many times in your career, Stuart, you walked the tightrope on a yellow card. But the left-hand side for PSG, now both Kvaratskhelia and Mendes have been booked. Does that mean that you can have a little bit more emphasis down that side? If you're Elise, you make sure you have a go at Mendes every time. Will it come down to maybe a red card change in the game?
Well, if I was a wide player, as soon as my fullback ended up getting booked, I would be screaming to my teammates, "Give me the ball! I'm going to take this fella on for 90 minutes and put pressure on him." And you know, and I know, if they do lose a player, PSG, that's just going to heighten Bayern's enthusiasm.
Still a great atmosphere inside the Allianz Arena, and those Bayern Munich fans are going to need to be the 12th man if they are to see their side reach the Champions League final. 2 goals down on aggregate. We can see the PSG players just in the tunnel, about to make their way out for the second half. The Bayern players coming out just a little bit earlier. What about Vincent Kompany? I think I asked you when he goes for it. Tactical changes will be intriguing nonetheless. Will he have some more firepower to bring on if he needs 2 goals? Does he put 2 forwards into the penalty area and change things in that regard?
Well, listen, it's all or nothing tonight, really, for Bayern. You know, no doubt about that. I was just saying to Jim at half-time, he's asking Lima to surge forward internally, sort of inside Elise. I'm not seeing enough coming from that attacking-wise to leave the cheddar coach behind him that is Kvaratskhelia and Upamecano, because that's a mismatch, and if you keep ceding that amount of space, they're better off, if you want to get Lima going forward, play him as a left back and leave your right back in slot, because that's where PSG are the strongest.
There's been a goal at Broadfield. Let's very quickly check in with Angelina Kelly.
It's Brighton 1, Arsenal 1. A brilliant goal from Friedemann. Alessia Russo plays her through. She charges into the box and fires from the edge of the 6-yard box into the far corner of the net. Arsenal have been much improved, like I said, in the second half, and are on the hunt for goals, because it looks like Stina Blackstenius and Beth Mead are about to come onto the pitch. It's Brighton 1, Arsenal 1.
Okay, second half of Bayern Munich 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1. PSG leading 6-4 on aggregate with the former England defender Stuart Pearce and talkSPORT's Jim Brownford.
Thank you, Hugh. Well, the players just re-emerging. PSG are out. Bayern just about to make their way out for the second half. Maximum 45 minutes ahead of them. They've scored in every game that they've played this season. Last team to stop them scoring, Paris Saint-Germain. That was in the quarterfinals of the Club World Cup back in July. I mentioned earlier they have scored all 51 this season. They've scored at least 2 goals in 48 of those 51, but they need 2 unanswered goals as a bare minimum in the second half here to take this to extra time. It goes without saying, the next goal of this game of the utmost importance. Vincent Kompany looking focused as he makes his way down the steps, and then about to emerge back out onto the turf for the second half. No sign of any changes being made. Bayern, Neuer in goal, Stanisic, Upamecano, Tar and Lima, Kimmich and Pavlovic, Elise, Musiala and Diaz and Kane. PSG Savinov, Zaire Emery, Marquinhos, Pacho, Nuno Mendes, Fabian Ruiz, Coutinho, João Neves, Doué Dembele and Kvaratskhelia. 1-0, Dembele's third mini goal, the difference between the two teams. Nuno Mendes, Kvaratskhelia and Stanisic all booked in that opening 45 minutes. PSG kicking from left to right as we look at it in their change kit of all black by their famous red with the white trim. And on the front foot, from the very off, with Michael Elise taking on Nuno Mendes, who really could have the key to this up against a player who is been walking that yellow card tightrope. Ball works inside the penalty area, appeals for a handball by the PSG defenders against Musiala. They've got it here with Kelly. Just opens up the right foot, guides it down towards Luis Diaz. Opportunity for him to run at Marquinhos. Puts it square to his left-hand side for Pavlovic. Pavlovic draws the challenge and plays it back to Stanisic. Got it to Tar coming on with. Quick give and go from him, and then Tar getting it back. And contrived to work it back behind Pavlovic, straight out of play. Free throw to PSG. 90 seconds into the second half here. On talkSPORT, this game brought to you in association with TNT Sports, the home of European football. Alongside me, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, Jim, certainly Bayern over recent months have shown that they've got the ability to stage fight backs. There's no doubt about that, and score goals. They're certainly going to have to do that now.
Yeah, they had a game recently with a 2-down with about 10-12 minutes to go. I think it was against Freiburg. Came back to win it. Freiburg, the potential opponents for Forest and Villa in the Europa League final. They meet each other in the second semi-final tomorrow. Forest a goal up as they go to Villa Park after the Chris Wood penalty 20 minutes of time in the first leg of these Midlands last week. Pacho is down hurt. He just ducked his head into attack a ball, but Kane raised his boots to try and get. According to studs on the top of the head, the centre half is down in need of a little bit of treatment. I don't know that there's sign of a little bit of blood there.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised the referee didn't give a foul there. Yes, Pacho's put his head down slightly, but still, Harry Kane's boot was fairly highly raised. German fans doing everything they can to lift their team. Incredible support.
Still seems to be a fair bit of optimism, as there would be when you play 23 games at home this season and you've won 20 of them. You can't get used to being able to get yourselves out of difficult positions, but this is increasingly testing form. 20 minutes gone in the second half. As legs might take a while, they're just having to patch up. They've put a big smear of Vaseline on the top of his head. Seemingly he's going to be okay and able to continue.
Brave how he put his head in now, got us up. This game was played at Brighton, I would say a seagull's done something on his nut at the moment.
Yeah, that's the perfect description, I would say. Everybody's with you. Play restarts, drop ball to PSG. Chavez plans his goal. Sappy guiding it right footed over the halfway line. It bounces over the head of Pavlovic, who's worked it away from Doué to his goalkeeper. So much of PSG's attacking play is gravitated down the left-back Kvaratskhelia side rather than down the right where Doué is. Here's Zaire Emery playing him right back. Having to deal with Diaz. Musiala on that occasion. Marquinhos finds his goalkeeper. Sapanov with the clearance. Bayern acrobatically trying to work it forward with Jonathan Tah. Brought down though by Zaire Emery. More Champions League games as a teenager than anyone else in history. Just lost down here. Musiala goes in. So too does Pavlovic. Able to emerge with the ball. Home crowd appreciating that. Stanisic now playing in left back. And from him to Tah, who will use the emergency exit behind him. Manuel Neuer. Neuer getting it away. Right footed. Clearance switches. Moving forward. Great header by Pacho. Out comes Neuer and sweeps up. Not particularly convincingly because he was off balance. Didn't get the purchase on the clearance that he wanted. Second ball won by Bayern, but they can't get it out towards the right-hand side. Makana looking for Elise, and then Nuno Mendes has just been given a little reminder there by Conrad Leimer that he's not down hurt, and it's a free kick at PSG in their left back. 5 on second half. talkSPORT, and PSG is still 2 up on average.
Yeah, Bayern have not been able to feed the ball into their forwards readily, I don't think, as they did last week. With that, sort of the likes of Elise back players in close attendance has managed to nullify the side.
This is the night if you're just joining us where the high drama has really come in the form of controversy in the first half as opposed to a glut of goals or opportunity. Elise coming snapper off the goalkeeper, trying to make a couple of important Good save. PSG have been ahead since 2.5 minutes in. Obviously going with a couple of handballs. Mendes very lucky to escape one, which the referee, had he given the free kick, would have had to have awarded him a second yellow card. And then moments later, there's a handball by John Ellis inside his own penalty area. Coutinho clouded the ball into him, and the referee and VAR didn't give it. The Bayern players, I think, will still be muttering now, justified as to, in the context of European decisions, how they didn't get a penalty for that. So 1-0 PSG lead with 6.5 minutes into the second half now. Michael Elise's gone in again. Elise with quick silver feet, running towards the edge of the penalty area, setting it up here for Luis Diaz. Diaz to his left-hand side, has got Stanisic coming onto it. Stanisic rolls it down towards Kane. Kane working the angle, right for his shot, really well blocked by Coutinho. Rogers throws up into the line of fire, and ricochets through the midfield towards Tar. Now Pavlovic. Back out of the left-hand side again for Stanisic. Stanisic for Luis Diaz. Marquinhos stepped up on the defensive line to follow him.
Sorry, Jim, I think that last effort from Harry Kane probably sums up his frustration. He's had a shooting effort there that really wasn't on, to be quite honest with you. He's shooting into a body.
He's got this wonderful goal-scoring record this season. 17 goals in his last 16 Champions League games. He's scored in 17 of his last 20 matches all time. That's now his willingness to shoot on side for the most, but they haven't been able to create anything like a clear-cut opportunity for him so far. Marquinhos fouled here. And Luis Diaz, the perpetrator, free kick PSG.
He's done well tonight, Marquinhos, so far. His little bit of know-how. He's got him in the right positions at the right time.
Still only 31 as well, Marquinhos. He seems to have been around here forever. He's got more than 500 PSG games behind him, but very few in the league recently. I mentioned earlier that as soon as it became obvious they were going to win the league, and they will do if they draw each of their next 2 matches, then essentially it's just been playing Champions League football. So it could have been the occasion. There's a ball again here. He's gone up to the ball with Ben, who has ended up on his back, holding his right cheekbone with his hand. Marquinhos has caught him the flailing arms, the pair of them attack.
Yeah. Now it's just coming from behind him, so I think Marquinhos probably knew he was there. There's no doubt about that, but nothing intentional there. But Bayern can take a free kick and move on.
So Phillips stands over it. And 15, 18 yards outside the penalty area. Left of centre. Not shaping to shoot. So the ball teased up to the aerial targets who made their way forward. Actually works it briskly out of the left-hand side of the penalty area. Diaz coming onto it. Pavlovic, and he snaps it in. Opened up his body and sent it spinning way well.
Yeah, for me, wrong technique. The ball's come across his body. I think he's better off going on to that and giving it full laces and driving it. He's decided, I think, with a player coming to shut him down, to sort of got caught in 2 minds. Opened his foot up, as you rightly said, and just sliced it.
He did score. Alexander Pavlovic against Real Madrid in the second leg of the quarter-final, but that's one of only 4 goals he scored all season. And 174 of their name, but none tonight. A night where, as we stand right now, they need 2, and they got 35 minutes to get it to take this game to extra time. Still wouldn't bet against it going to extra time necessarily, but these usual feel as though they're in really good control here. So another free kick, but in the harmless area, he was inside the centre circle, and it was Pancho on Musiala. England under-21 international, who will be seeing the Germany in the World Cup, between Pancho and Zaire Emery. But every game for the World Cup, all 104 live from Canada, Mexico, and the United States. Coming your way on the talkSPORT network over the course of the summer. England, first in action on June the 17th. We will be with them in Ireland. All work for here by PSG. Very quickly on the counter-attack. Outward's doing. Space for him to work. The angle is tight. Gets the shot in. Neuer's been able to beat it away. There were 4 players very quickly converging on him for Bayern Munich to make his life difficult. They forced him wide. And and Neuer was able to make a comfortable save. Now opportunity for Bayern on the counter-attack. Pavlovic putting his foot in. Lima continues a bustling run forward, which is halted. Left Bayern working out towards Elise, but Nuno Mendes is dealing with him at the moment.
Yeah, he is. I've been a little bit disappointed with Elise. With any physical challenge where he thinks he might take a knock, an aerial ball or whatever, he just leaves it for the defender.
It's Kvaratskhelia, and Neuer kicks her away with his left foot. Rossen might have found Dembele, and there's not been an intervention for the veteran goalkeeper. And Bayern will get it away.
Well, brilliant wing play once again there. Kvaratskhelia just turning. Upamecano this way and that way. Obviously, Lima up the pitch once again, chasing the game.
Here's Elise. Elise looking for Kane. Very nearly got there ahead of Sabanov. Russian was out, he threw himself at the feet of Harry Kane and was able to make a decent save. It's opening up, and Bayern are having to commit more bodies forward, and of course that potentially plays into PSG hands on the counter-attack. Although it's 1-0 and has been for nearly an hour. It does feel as though it might not be 1-0 for too much longer. Lima. And the Bayern right-hand side. Pavlovic will make a run. Lima then down the infield and found space, and then finds Stanisic. Then to Luis Diaz with a little stuttering run, an injection of tempo, and a little ball pass. He didn't get the return. It was very good defending from Zanetti. And Marquinhos appreciated that. And told how good he'd been. Ball out of play. Goal kick at PSG. 57 gone on talkSPORT. 1-0 to the Parisians, who are 6-4 up on aggregate.
Yeah, Zaire done really well there, as you rightly say. You know, his man's gone inside, but it's easy to switch off, especially if you don't play there regularly. He's tracked the runner and just used his body to come up against Diaz and body him out and let the ball run out of play.
Similar short of an hour play. Choice of live European semi-finals for you on the talkSPORT network tomorrow. And you and I, two English teams will be going through to the finals of their respective competitions. After the Champions League final, Palace, it feels that we'll be bound to get a job done ourselves tomorrow live on talkSPORT 2 against Shakhtar. And Elise making his way forward here. Who stands on well in action tomorrow against Shakhtar. That's on talkSPORT 2 and Villa Forest on talkSPORT. Villa starting 7 tomorrow from Villa Park. Villa look for the first European final since way back when. Luis Diaz, that's under the penalty area, pulled it. Coutinho will get it away. Forest haven't been in one since 1980. What we're going to do tomorrow night is not concede. They've been in the great form over the last month or so. It promises to be a man-for-ordinary occasion. Tomorrow, Villa Forest. Join us at Villa Park for a build-up of 7 ahead of the main hockey. Musiala. It's in the heart of midfield. Out towards Elise. Elise with a couple of step over, just trying to work the angle. Lays it back for Musiala. Pavlovic is on. Back from Pavlovic. And then the referee gets it away. And the ball is laid back for Kimmich. Stopped play. There's no need to, because the moment it hit him, it still went back to Jonathan Tah, who's the intended recipient of the pass anyway. Really not happy with the referee's performance tonight. Ball down towards Musiala again with the byline. Did he overrun it? No, not quite. Defending from João Neves, who was able to get it away, and then in fact the referee does flag and gone out of play for a goal kick. And we played an hour, half an hour to go. I need to rescue at the stadium.
Yeah, whether it be João Neves or Coutinho, they're doing well, doubling up and stopping the wide players coming in and opening the goal up, and that will be a big problem for them. But they're working tirelessly for the team, the central midfield players.
Backs it away, straight out of play for a throw. Finds Conrad Lima, takes on halfway.
I don't know if it's a tactic at all, but I've seen goalkeepers launching the ball going straight out of play in the opposition's half. I don't. Either the accuracy's not there, or they continue trying to pick out wide players and missing it.
Well, I guess it's just an attack to get the ball forward quickly. From the fact that both kickoffs we've seen in this game have been something very similar. The ball has been back, and it has been deliberately kicked out of play, both at the beginning of the first half and the beginning of the second half by PSG. Just getting it up the field to force the other side in. Here's Pavlovic, back out of the right-hand side of the penalty area, Linus crosses block, Kimmich then trying to poke it back, and Pavlovic will guide it down towards Elise. Elise again towards Pavlovic, now coming on with his Stanisic, but he couldn't get the power. And Stappen off to make it come from Sam.
Yeah, as I say, not enough pace on the ball, and he couldn't generate enough pace himself, you know, to really have a decent dip at goal from there. Or effort eventually.
The man who's only scored 4 goals in more than 100 Bayern Munich games. It's the 0-2 PSG, who have now been ahead 4-0. Bayern are going to be making a change in a moment. The Vancouver native Alphonso Davies is going to be coming on. He started at left back in the first leg, where he was in the 2020 Champions League winning team for Bayern. And he's going to be coming on shortly. Lovely little nutmeg, and then followed by another inside referee who was able to nutmeg Pavlovic. Still continuing his run forward. The teenager lays it back through midfield. So Davis is going to be coming on, and we're going to be seeing Bradley Barker come off PSG in a moment as well. 17 minutes into the second half. It's still 1-0. That Dembele goal of 3 minutes. Always going to be Quartet another ridiculously high-scoring game. It hasn't turned out that way. Not that it's been changed by the stretch of the imagination, but it's been quite the free-flowing exhibition that we saw last week.
No, probably on the hour mark is the first time I've seen PSG basically say, you know what, we'll go backwards and sideways now. I'm quite happy to keep the ball, which they're doing at this moment in time. Prior to that, it was every time we get it, we'll go forward, we'll try to score.
Zaire to Due. Shea in a much more central position. Back to Due again, running forward. Well tackled, just on the edge of the D. Pavlovic the opportunity to find Stanisic who could bring it away. Pavlovic again. Kane really deep, picking up possession. Goal side of the edge of the centre circle. That's his goal side of the edge of the centre circle. Both brothers going past it. He's lifted up well and then continues his run forward. As with Upamecano, who was in the Leipzig side that lost the Champions League semi-final to PSG back in 2020. That year, you'll remember, was the settled by a goal from Kingsley Coman. Harris, ball and drag, scoring the winner for Bayern against PSG, looking for revenge tonight. And he might just get it here, the right from left from Due. Neuer dived to his right, got his hand to it, beats it away and out for a corner.
Super play there by Due. He's taken on 2 players, he's put 3 players on the back foot, and he's hit a shot that's bounced just in front of Neuer. Great save.
So the corner will be the first of the second half. And Paris Saint-Germain split it again. Bayern have a 1-1. As yet, Dembele, the goal scorer, who's coming off before the corner is taken, and he'll be replaced by Bradley Barker, who's had his injury problems this season. He hasn't scored in 6 games since he returned. He didn't net in both legs against Chelsea earlier in the competition, and it comes on now. So Barker for Dembele is PSG's first change. Dembele leads the fielders. The potential match winner on the night. Just the 1 attempt this evening, but he scored from. Bayern, are they going to wait to defend this corner before bringing Alphonso Davies on? They are. 10 and away. And the near post by Pavlovic. 45 gets his foot to it. Elise then stabs it back for Stanisic, wearing 44. His long ball forward. Chased after by Diaz. Acrobatically clear. Fabian Ruiz hooks it forward with his long left leg, but he got very high to be able to divert the pass down to the recently arrived Barker. This is in fact going to be a double change because Kim will be going on for Bayern as well, the centre-half who scored the winner against PSG here in the league stage last season of the Champions League. Great run off the ball on the left-hand side. Bartler's running in the middle of PSG can get it in. They can't quite. It's good defending in the air by Upamecano.
I wonder if they'll change to a 3 at all. But I mean, you could easily take Upamecano off.
Ready for nine players run into each other. Musiala and Pavlovic. There's a stumble off the ball from the PSG player. Diaz tries to make his way forward. Musiala's been able to find him. He's got it. Trying to open up the angle. He comes back outside the penalty area. Now the pass to Musiala is on. Diaz making to shoot. Plays the ball out towards Leiber instead. Kimmich 12 yards outside the penalty area. Ball again towards Leiber. The Austrian out towards Michael Elisa. Showed a real reluctance to run defenders in the second half. Ball inside the box when it does eventually come. Sails over everybody and goes out of play for a goal kick, and that will allow Bayern a chance to make that double check.
I would say at this moment, the last 10 minutes, PSG have been as comfortable defensively as they have been over the last game and a half, Jim. So, you know, they're killing the pace of the game, keeping possession of the ball when they have to, attack when they have to.
The changes have been made, and it is a double change, like for like. Kim Min-jae on third, Jonathan Tah, so it's he rather than Upamecano who makes way. And Alphonso Davies has come on for Stanisic at left back.
Yeah, as I say, that's not really the sort of changes that you see in attack-minded players. Davies will get forward as much as he can, I'm sure. Leimer as well, and that might leave things open a touch.
Good play by Leimer. Good quick feet, drawing a challenge in and then they're getting it away. Aggressive pass out towards Luis Diaz, coming off the left-hand side, running at Marquinhos, checking back inside the penalty area. Diverts it away. Back out towards Alphonso Davies. Good 1-2 between him and Musiala. First time ball in. It's Diaz. Well saved Savinov. Been disappointed had that beaten him, but he still had to throw his way to his right-hand side to be it. Held and beat it clear. But that was better. And a good first contribution from Davies.
Yeah, they're going to have to keep driving forward, keep turning the screw, and hopefully get a goal at some stage to really make it a nervous ending for PSG.
We're in the final quarter of the game. Bayern Munich side have scored in every game this season. Still, haven't scored in this one. Permanent goal from Ousmane Dembele. 6-4 on aggregate for PSG. No side has ever scored 5 in a Champions League tie and been eliminated. Bar 1. That was Manchester City when they lost to Monaco on away goals in 2017, having won the first leg 5-3. Hoping not to join them. Here's Elisa coming forward. Elisa! Through a crowd, but again without the power. Could have done with a little nick on that to divert it past Savinov. That wasn't forthcoming either. It was a comfortable stop.
Yeah, set up play, absolutely superb by him, but just failed to get the precision and the pace on the shot.
Two up against each other for a moment. Barker taking on Davis. Canadians put it out of play for a throw, which won't be surprised to hear. They're in no hurry to take PSG. They've earned the right to try and run a few seconds off the clock. Zaire Emery spins the Champions League ball with its dark blue markings at the palm of his right hand. Takes the throw. In towards Desiree Doué. He tried a trick and ended up tackling himself, but then wins it back. Takes down towards the dead ball, and oh, it's brilliant from Doué. Absolutely magnificent to drag the ball back on the dead ball line and beat 2 Bayern players. Couldn't get across it. Bayern cleared it, but just the skill, the quick thinking, and the execution was quite magnificent. Very unlucky that he couldn't make more of it.
Yeah, really clever play. Tell you what, the more this game goes on, the more I'm appreciating the work of Marquinhos and Pacho. I think they've been outstanding tonight, I really do.
Harry Kane's right boot. But they got a clean sheet against their name. Gregorian and the Brazilian have worked so well in tackle. 71 gone. 1-0 to PSG. Another goal now for them. And it feels as though it will be all over. And it's Kvaratskhelia trying to provide it. Pirouetting in the deep. Works to his left-hand side. And Neuer dives to his right. Doesn't get anything on Doué Zaka, which goes into the side netting and wide for a goal kick.
Great feet for Kvaratskhelia, and he's just laid it off the Doué. He's given it everything he's got, but just not on target.
Shoot us into the final, the Timo said before the game for the Bayern support. Haven't been able to do that so far.
It'll be a twist, Jim, we know that.
Kim. Getting it forward for Pavlovic. Pavlovic to Kane. Kane's done well. Michael Olise inside the penalty area, tried to supply Kane. PSG defending Mark Anthony at 8. Back in black. Ball knocked away. Kimmich. Recycling it for Bayern. To the feet of Kim and back again, then into the feet of Magana. Now towards Olise. Olise. Stands up Nuno Mendes, rolling down the line for Lima. The ball is cleared. Out of play by Fabian Ruiz, who has done a good job in a very understated way tonight. Puts it out of play for a throw. Taken short to Olise. Coming forward is Magana. Into the feet of Pavlovic. It's not open anymore. It's all congested and tied up around the edge of the PSG box. Luis Diaz. Just in to take on a try and beat Warren Zaire Emery. Has got the ball in. It's got past Kane. Awkward attempt to try and clear it from Nuno Mendes, but Fabian Ruiz will be able to get the distance that he wanted.
Yeah, in boxing terms, PSG look as though they're tired sloggers at the moment. It's Bayern that are pushing with the physical output, but finding it difficult to breach this 11 players.
Or it's rope-a-dope, depending which way you look at it. Here's Olise playing the ball in, and it's diverted by Pacho away from Kane, and out for Bayern's first corner of the night.
Yeah, good defending there. Pacho in the right place, just guarding that near post. An opportunity to pop the ball in the box.
That was much better from Michael Olise. Corner to Bayern as they look for the equaliser on the night. Swung in and Safanov got caught under the flight of Ennis. Come off the knuckles of his right hand and got out of play for a throw. Just diverted the flight of it rather than being able to commandingly knock it away. It's Diaz to Kim. Kim to Lina. Lina 15 outside the penalty area. Fires it in and it's fallen away. Pacho with a good clearance. Bayern committing everybody forward. Now needs a chance. The counter-attack is always on. Very lively bounce. Barkley trying to deal with that. Just couldn't wait really for the ball to come down. And allowed Davis the chance to hurriedly clear and put it out. But they're keeping everybody so far up the field that whenever there's a set piece or possession is turned over by PSG deep inside their own half, and they look to play a long early ball forward, they've always got a chance on the counter.
Yeah, they certainly have. And as you say, their players technically very, very gifted and quick as well. And Barkley's done brilliant for his team there, just seeding distance, ground and possession he's got for his team.
All of a sudden, only 15 minutes to go. Continue. Picking the ball up on the left-hand side of midfield. Chipping it back into the centre circle. Brought down by Pacho. Over the Champions League final, Arsenal against. At the moment, it looks as though it's going to be PSG. We'll be live on talkSPORT in Hungary, May the 30th. Doué working it across the woods for Kvaratskhelia, whose shot was blocked. Comes back out with Doué. Doué dragging it onto his left foot. Oh, he's almost hit the outside of the post, and Neuer was just stood watching it. Just wide.
He's literally taken it on the inside, opened the goal up nicely, centre of the goal, and he's hit it, and well, the players all to a man stood still. Didn't know what side of the post that was going to end up at.
Now this is last moment of the game. Doué coming off to be replaced by Hernandez. And Fabian Ruiz is coming off, and Lucas Moura, the Brazilian who can play as centre half or as a defensive midfielder. is going to come on to replace him. So 15 minutes of this second leg to go, 15 minutes of normal time to go. First indication in terms of personnel that Luis Enrique just wants to protect what he's got now.
Yeah, makes sense really. You're on 75 minutes, he could have done that earlier if he so wished.
What do you make of Fabian Ruiz tonight?
I think he's had a really solid game in midfield, I really do. I think he's played very, very well.
Free kick to Bayern. Musiala, turn on halfway. So it's too good for João Neves. The crowd wanted a yellow card. Nothing given by the referee. Well, we've seen him twice in a week, and we've seen how he's let the game go. How's he shown 15 red cards this season? Because if he lets the game go like this every time, then there must be pretty much a criminal assault going on. It's a reach for the red.
I wish you'd have refereed me a lot more in my career. It's fair to say, Jim.
Yeah, you'd have been alright. You'd only had about 20 red cards. Here's Kimmich. Like he's on his own half for McCartney. Down towards Kim. Nicely between the lines. Good side, put it down towards the left-hand side. Luis Diaz back towards Musiala. Let it run. Kane has got it, stumbling after a challenge from Marquinhos that wasn't a foul. He's been able to recycle it. Laid back for Pavlovic. Now Kim Min-jae comes onto it again. South Korea. Who's left-hand side. Davis feathering it down the line for Harry Kane. Gets there first from Marquinhos and plays it back. Then Davis goes back to Pavlovic. And also to McCartney. Pavlovic again. And he picks it up to the deepest of the outfield players for Bayern. Nice turn by Luis Diaz. Into the feet on the edge of the penalty area. Is brought down off the ball as the referee says no. Is he going to book him for diving? He does. Luis Diaz booked for diving. Went down in the D. And the referee has said, as Bayern were expecting a free kick, then it's a free kick the other way, and Diaz is caution.
Well, this is a strange one. Well, that's obstruction by anybody's standards, and I think there was a wry smile there by the PSG player as he walked away. It was ludicrous. He's been consistent, the referee, in his own inconsistent sort of way, hasn't he?
Yes, he's been consistent tonight. The Bayern will be fuming. How you can get a yellow card there for diving, unless he picked up a yellow for descent. Here's Kvaratskhelia coming inside the penalty area. Can't wrap his foot around it and win it for PSG. What a chance! All of a sudden the ball played forward. And Kvaratskhelia just made a run in behind Kim. Flicked it with his right foot over the shoulder of Kim, and he was in for a moment, and he just couldn't get the ball into his stride to be able to hit it right-footed. And the Bayern defender was able to recover and clear.
I've got to say, that was brilliant play to create that chance for himself, and if he'd have found a finish there, they would have had a more than comfortable last 10 minutes or so. Just couldn't. Just trying to help it over the top of the goalkeeper with the inside of his foot and his skill.
Bayern have made a change. Nicholas Jackson on loan from Chelsea. On for Musiala. Corner to PSG. Handed away on the edge of the 6-yard box, but not outside the penalty area. Goes back out for Vitinha, former Wolves man, standing it up deep towards the far post. It's beaten everybody, comes back out the other side of the area, but Kvaratskhelia has got it, taking on line, gets the ball in. And the referee has given a corner that João Neves wasn't expecting. And there are bright smiles all over the place.
I think even the Bayern players and the PSG players are just laughing at the odd decision that the referee's offering here.
Officiating that has been idiosyncratic. Vitinha's going to take this corner. And has actually been hit by a plastic cup that's been thrown from the Bayern fans towards him. So Vitinha to take it. This is PSG's 6th corner, right-footed, swung in, heads go up for it, it's knocked away. And as far as Elise taking on maybe a touch too far, and then was foul, and it's free kick to Bayern. Lima wants to take. Small time in the WSL, Angelina.
Full-time Brighton 1, Arsenal 1. The draw means that Manchester City are officially champions of the Women's Super League for the first time since 2016. Brighton were the better side in the first half, deservedly taking the lead with Bukasonova's deflected goal. Despite Arsenal improving in the second half, with Frida Marlin scoring the equaliser, it was not good enough as the Gunners have failed to take the title race to the final day of the season, and the WSL trophy is heading to Manchester. Full-time Brighton 1, Arsenal 1.
So congratulations to Manchester City, the champions of the WSL. We've got 9 minutes to go. As the breaking of Bayern Munich after a foul by Barker just outside the penalty area. And this one is in a shooting position for Joshua Kimmich. Might still try and just tease it up towards Kane at the far post. Kane and Go, there are loads of them in there. He's done exactly that. It's going to have to be retaken because the referee, just before he kicked the ball, wasn't happy with the pushing and shoving that was going on. He's having a word with Kane and Beraldo, and I think João Neves was given a few words of advice in passing as well. So Sampanov's back, having another look at the angle of his wall protecting the near post. Is Kimmich going to try the same again? Just chip this in. He does, and out comes Sampanov, and that's good goalkeeping. He's punched it clear and got it about 20 yards outside the box. Elise runs around it, recycles it. Now it comes back down towards Alphonso Davies. Kimmich to his left, but he's played it further forward, briskly out towards Luis Diaz. Back he goes from Diaz to Kimmich. Towards the feet of the Canadian Davies. Look at Makana. Lyman. 7.5 to go here on talkSPORT. Brought to you in association with TNT Sports, the home of European football. Ball pass by over Makana. One back. They've got it forward towards Barker. Nuno Mendes from distance and wide.
No, wrong option. Totally wrong option. I think at this stage of the game, on 82, 83 minutes, you've just got to keep possession of the ball. Make sure you've got a real shooting and goal scoring opportunity.
Well, he's playing higher up now, Nuno Mendes on that left-hand side. And he saw that the goalkeeper was off his line and he's trying the spectacular. It didn't come off. Here's Jackson taking on the impressive Pacho and winning a throw. Nicholas Jackson, who has scored 10 goals in this loan spell from Chelsea, 3 of them coming in the Champions League this season. He's often been used as a substitute, but has been a 1-in-3 man. And Bayern are going to be bringing on that young Leonard Carl in a moment, who's only 18, but has scored 4 goals in 7 Champions League ties this season. So another attacking option going to be introduced in a moment. Here's Kane, bustling his way forward and doing really well to get back on his feet after seemingly being tackled and losing possession. And then Marquinhos is fouled in. Oh, the referee's giving it against Kane.
He's giving it for handball. Harry Kane's gone down sort of east. How he's managed to retain the ball under about 3 or 4 challenges, I'll never know. And then I think he come to a stage where he's off balance and thought, just will go down on the ball and hopefully get something from it from the referee. He got that all right. Free kick against him.
6 to go. Centre half of Upamecano off and a forward Leonard Carl on. PSG are going to be taking Nuno Mendes off, and they will bring on Seni Mayulu, who hit the frame of the goal only moments after coming on last week. He did score in the final last season. We've seen him play high up, we've seen him play at left wing back, we've seen him play at right back. 19-year-old will be coming on presumably to play over on the left-hand side for PSG. 5 to go plus stoppage time. PSG going through without too much alarm at the moment.
No, they're controlling the game pretty well. I think when they've dropped into shape defensively, they've not been opened up for any shooting lines in any way, shape or form. So I think they'll be absolutely delighted with that. And Bayern need to get a goal, even a scrappy goal, just to make this game edgy, if you like, for the last few minutes.
Yellow card for Marquinhos, who stop the run of Diaz down the left-hand side. 5 minutes to go. Free kick the Bayern again in PSG territory. Much closer to halfway though than the edge of the penalty area. Don't forget Sports Bar coming up tonight. 717-223344. Your chance to react to this second leg. What did you make of it? It has been in contrast to the first. 9-goal thriller last week. It's been a different type of game today, but it's been so engaging. It's not over yet, although PSG will feel as though it nearly is. Davis makes his way forward. Overrun, that's good defended again by Zaire Emery. He's out of play for a goal kick. Now the PSG supporters in 5 voiced over. They are nearly there. 2 up on aggregate still.
Yeah, Davis should have done better there. Strode straight down the left wing. He didn't seem to have a sort of an understanding of what he was looking to achieve, to be fair. He was just hoping the defender made his mind up for him.
Well, the fact that it's still 1-0 to PSG probably makes those 2 handball decisions in the space of 60 seconds in the first half even more relevant and controversial.
I think they'll be mentioned by Vincent Company. It's fair to say either way, the way this result was going to go.
Nuno Mendes could easily have been sent off, and then a penalty could easily have been given moments later. Here's Luis Diaz inside the penalty area, big chance and a great block. It was Carl with the effort, then Lionel with another one. Did that hit a hand? Referee immediately says no, and it drops into the hands of Savin off the PSG goalkeeper.
Well, if you're Bayern supporters at this moment in time, you'll be very disappointed with some of these marginal decisions. I think they got that one right though.
It was Pacho, that one that it hit. As the shot comes in, and Neuer tips away, and Kvaratskhelia watches it run out of play for a corner, but only 2 minutes to go. Bayern need to score twice.
Yeah, they've had a couple of efforts there, Bayern, but you've got to say, players back, in slot, filling the goal up. 2 blocks continually, just looking at Lima one. Might have well hit his hand, but I think he's trying to pull it away from his body there.
Yeah, it's Raul Neves, who we felt could easily have had a penalty given against him in the first half. The one in the first half was a much clearer one than that. His arms are in a natural position this time as he blocks the effort from line. Corner for PSG, they've worked it short. And Vitinha will take over. Bustling his way towards the edge of the penalty area. Under a little bit of pressure, he's found Baraldo to Barkala, who stumbled. Bayern very grateful that he did, able to bring it away and find Pavlovic, but they've got 90 seconds to go. Still 1-0 to PSG, as it's been since the 3rd minute of the night. All went down the line here for Michael Elise, taking on Baraldo. And now this is back to cover as well. He's got it in, and it's headed away by the impressive Marquinhos, and then volleyed further clear out to Bradley Barkala on the PSG left. But Kim's won it. Elise playing it for. It's Nicholas Jackson now. Back on the right-hand side of the box again. Makes his way inside the penalty area. And then chips it in too far ahead of Kane. And this is going to be PSG's time.
That was symptomatic of Harry Kane's probably 2 legs, I think. You know, there's nothing that has been delivered in the box that's actually fell to him or dropped to him or anything of that nature. Bayern will be desperate. He is the man you want anything to fall to, and I think over the 2 legs, Jim, I don't think anything has.
So the 17th away win of the season for PSG, their 6th win in a row in the Champions League. And it will take them into the final against Arsenal in Budapest on May the 3rd. Alphonso Davies. Down towards Luis Diaz. Bayern need to score twice. They've got 10 seconds plus stoppage time to do it. So well that goals can come bang bang in stoppage time in big Champions League games. 5 minutes shown by the 4th official Espinezos, and we're in them now. Bayern have got to score twice. Pavlovic, this is going to be the first game that they failed to score in all season, and the 4th in which they've not scored 2 or more. And Andes clears. Looks the ball over halfway. Back past Kim. Neuer comes out, heads it down. Kimmich working it for Davis. 4.5 to go. Davis' ball to the side. Diaz taking it off Marseille Emery. It's inside the penalty area. It's taking a little ricochet back off him. Jansen trying to improvise, hooks it in. Safanov off balance. Sticks his hands above his head and catches it.
Well, just Diaz done brilliantly, burst into the 6-yard box on the flank, but just couldn't find, once again, just couldn't find a little toe poke or anything to find a red shirt in the centre of the goal.
Safanov gets it forward as quickly as he can. Kim was complaining he was being fouled by Barkala. But Bayern have still got to get it out with life. To the right back position. Play ball by Leonard Carr. Alisa down the line for Lima. Battling there with Mayulu, who stood his ground, has been the calming figure since coming on. Carl has it back. 3.5 minutes to go. PSG 2 up on aggregate. Within touching distance now. Davis for Bayern as the red shirts come forward again. It's Luis Diaz. Quick feet taking on Warren Zaire-Emery. Still he goes, he almost able to thread it through for the runner Carl. Very nearly. PSG survived. They got the defensive angles right. Kvaratskhelia can get it away. Just plays it back into Bayern territory. Knows it's going to come straight back. Just running a few seconds off the clock, and there are only 3 minutes left now. Company cutting a disconsolate figure as the ball is played in and it's volleyed away from the edge of the penalty area again, but ricochets off Barkley to get Bayern a throw on halfway.
Yeah, they've got something to hang on to at the moment, PSG, and to a man they're working tirelessly to fill holes, fill the box.
Sharp exhalation of breath from Luis Enrique, runs his hands through his greying hair. He knows the side are nearly there, but they're not there yet. Carl with another good dynamic run forward. Kimmich down towards Diaz. Diaz taking on Zaire-Emery, but they doubled up on him this time. Kvaratskhelia put the challenge in and then buys the free kick. PSG substitutes love that and they exit the bench. Raucous appreciation of Kvaratskelia's work off the ball. And PSG are going to be going through. No chance for Bayern now, they've run out of time.
No, as I say, he's doubled up brilliantly there, and you saw when he gained possession, he had one thing on his mind. He's clever enough to know I'm going to put my body in between you and the ball, and if you're stupid enough to foul me, we'll take that all day long.
Safanov's given a touch again. Out of play for a throw that Bayern will take, but now by their own corner flag in the left back position. Pavlovic, Kimmich, getting it forward for Carl. Carl can turn in the midfield, playing out towards the line. Faced up by Beraldo, down the line for Elise. Kane making a run towards the penalty spot. Marquinhos watching him every step of the way. Elise can't get the ball in. Now a little bit of space for Davis near the edge of the penalty area. Davis in towards Kane. Kane with a shot and scores. And they've got a minute and 15 seconds to get one more. But there is Harry Kane's 55th goal of the season. He's now scored in 7 straight Champions League ties. He's got more goals in his first 70 games in the competition than Lionel Messi. But it is surely too little too late.
Well, it's the first time, as I said earlier, he's not had anything fall to him at all, but he's managed to receive one in the box. Good feet to open the goal up slightly, and he's dispatched one at really close quarters with his left foot. Could we have a grandstand finish, Jim?
Well, by the time the game kicks off, there should be about a minute 15 left. Bayern have got to score. They've given themselves just a little bit of hope. Harry Kane's 14th goal in 13 Champions League games this season. Safanov clears upfield. It's out of play for a Bayern throw. Surely not. But they've had very little coming against tonight against all the odds. Surely they can't get 2 in 2 minutes right at the end of the game. Here's Pavlovic. They're going to give it a go. Pavlovic forward. The 5 minutes are up, but there will be time to be added on a little bit, but not much. Probably into the last 20 seconds or so. Despite working down the right-hand side, but Hernandez can clear as he want to throw. Yes, he has, off Michael Elise. That should get PSG over the line. Grand Slam finale, but the goal has just come too late. Marquinhos down with a touch of cramp. The referee referee, seemingly, judging by Kane's brisk nod of the head, it's just indicating that time will be added on, and this will be accounted for. It's a company taking a swig of his drink, looking on ruefully. Goal had come 10 minutes ago, might have been a different story, but Kane scoring in the 4th minute of stoppage time. And they still need one, and they will barely be able to get the ball back forward towards the edge of the penalty area to even give themselves a sniff of a chance. Throw to be taken on the PSG left. The full-time whistle, I'm sure, will come any moment. Throw taken forward, heading back by Bayern. Elise's got it, works it back to halfway. Pavlovic's getting it forward. Leonard Carl now, down the right-hand side for Kane. He's still outside the penalty area, way outside the penalty area. Trying to get it in, the referee's put his whistle to his mouth. And it is PSG who are through. Just a little scare at the end, but they've been brilliant over the two ties, and they have proved that there is more than one way to win a game. Bludgeoned their way past Bayern last week, winning by the odd goal in 9. They've had more than some luck in running with a couple of decisions that really went their way in the first half tonight. Harry Kane equalised in the 4th minute of stoppage time. By that stage, PSG had led for 90 minutes. Bayern didn't have the opportunity to get the second they needed. They are out, and it's Paris Saint-Germain who are through. The first side in 8 years to make it through to the final as defending champions, and it is Arsenal who stand in their way. It's finished. Bayern Munich 1, Paris Saint-Germain 1, PSG win it 6-5 on aggregate.
The sequel never lives up to the original. Last week will live long in the memory. Tonight, far more forgettable, but I tell you what, PSG won't care at all. They've come away to Munich. They have got the job done, and they did it with real quality. It ended in a draw. It felt like a PSG win for most of the game. Harry Kane right at the end of the game, giving a little bit of hope to Bayern Munich, but it was far too little too late. And Luis Enrique has taken the French champions, as Jim mentioned, to back-to-back finals in the European Cup. Arsenal await in Budapest at the end of the month, and Bayern's wait to reach a final will extend now to 6 years. 03717 223344. Arsenal fans, can you do it? Can you stop this PSG side for another European coronation? Jason Gundy and Jamie O'Hara coming very shortly indeed. 03717 223344. PSG fans, I know there's plenty of you out there. Let us know what you think about Luis Enrique and your side. Great quality shown throughout to reach another final. Stuart Pearce, the former England World Cup defender, it was a deserved win, I think. Even though it only came by a single goal, you'll think back to that penalty awarded against Alphonso Davies, but it came by a single goal over the two legs. Did you feel it was a deserved win over the two games for Paris Saint-Germain?
Yes, I do. I think they've been slightly the better side over both legs, especially the first one in Paris. They've come here, they've done a really professional job. I thought they defended pretty well. They filled the box, got blocks. The only time Harry Kane got a sight a goal, he put the ball in the back of the net, but I think they deserve to go through.
For all of the plaudits for their attack tonight, does their defence leave with even more credit?
Yeah, I think so. I thought Marquinhos was outstanding tonight. Pacho as well at the heart of defence. And they were supplemented by the midfield players doubling up when they needed to.
When we look at Bayern's performance tonight, we see a very angry-looking Vincent Kompany marching across the pitch at the Allianz. How disappointed should Bayern be? We spoke at half-time, we said, when are they going to kind of throw the kitchen sink in it? And it never really felt like it came in earnest.
No, listen, I think sometimes when you're playing games of this magnitude against opposition that are absolute top quality, and that statement goes for both teams there, you've got to just, at the end of it, hold your hands up and say we were probably beaten by a better side that had a little bit more cutting edge than we.
Bayern Munich are going to have to regroup. We've just seen pictures of Harry Kane looking completely dejected out on the pitch. What will Vincent Kompany have learned from his experience with this Bayern team this year? How can he improve them for next?
Well, I think the cutting edge was good. It was decent over the 2 games at the front end of the team, but defensively, I think that they were pulled around a little bit defensively, and listen, it's really easy to say, but the front 3 of PSG have been magnificent over these couple of games.
Back-to-back finals for Luis Enrique. How big an achievement is that? But for any coach, we just heard from Jim that it's been 8 years since any team has gone back-to-back in terms of a champion going to another final. How big an achievement do you feel it is?
Well, I think you look at PSG and how they've evolved over the last 10 years or so, and you think, we all thought, no, I'm not sure they're ever going to be good enough to, they were signing marquee players and whatever, but they've got a real team as well as the talent as well, and he's put the icing on the cake with this mob.
Initial thoughts then as we look ahead to May the 30th, Paris Saint-Germain aiming to win back-to-back Champions League titles versus our very own Arsenal, who are playing just their 2nd ever Champions League final. How do you think it will play out?
Once again, another exciting game. 2 different styles of teams, talent on both sides. I think it's up in the air. I think PSG are going as favourites for the game, but as we've found out many times before, it doesn't mean a great deal. Arsenal, and I'm absolutely delighted to say, are in the Champions League final, an English team, but they're taking on, without doubt, probably at this moment in time, the best team in Europe.
Stuart Pearce, all that's left for us to do is pick our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here for It hero on talkSPORT with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
As you pointed out, Stuart, a host of really high-class performances tonight, but who stood out for you?
Yeah, listen, load of talent on the pitch, but the person who's probably stuck out for me is Marquinhos. I thought he'd done really well at the heart of the back line. Got blocks when he needed to, was in the right position when he needed to, when he was isolated one-on-one, never give his wicket away. He really impressed me tonight.
Marquinhos, on the night that he surpassed Roberto Carlos as the Brazilian with the most appearances in the Champions League, is our man of the match, Here for It hero from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here for It hero on talkSPORT with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
Stuart Pearce, Jim Bradford, thank you very much indeed for your commentary tonight. It was great entertainment. A reminder, by the way, elsewhere tonight, Arsenal's draw at Brighton means that Manchester City are crowned the Women's Super League champions for 2025-26. As for the Champions League, Bayern Munich got a late goal from Harry Kane, but it was too little too late. Over the 2 legs, Paris Saint-Germain, the better side. No real drama in the second leg compared to the first, but they won't care. PSG are on their way to back-to-back Champions League finals. Finished Bayern Munich 1, Paris Saint-Germain 1, PSG winning 6-5 on aggregate.
Kick off on talkSPORT with Ladbrokes. 18plusgambleaware.org.
On Saturday, May 9th, don't blink. English knockout kings are set to collide live, exclusively on DAZN. Fabian Woodley from white collar to world champion versus Daniel Dubois, hungry to get back on top of the world. They've knocked out the best, so on May 9th, someone is going down. Just takes one shot. Don't miss the moment that defines a new era. Woodley versus Dubois. Watch only on DAZN.
How does it feel to face the storm head-on? Go beyond the map. Drive into the extreme. Or win a Ford Explorer. Test drive one before the end of May and you could win one. Now how would that feel? Search Win Ford Explorer. Ready, set, Ford. T's and C's apply. 25 plus only. See Ford.co.uk for details.
With all the markets on all of the action, Zaggers and odds, whatever your passion. Build your own bet on a small local derby, and there's live in play betting if you're late to the party. Signing up is easy. easy on all your devices. Exclusive promotions and bet boosted prices. Criminal punters are sharing this tip. Get the king of the app now. talkSPORT, bet it's a hit.
18 plus, gambleaware.org. Power up your plans and drive your business forward with the right equipment at the right price in the next Ritchie Brothers auction on the 13th and 14th of May. With a full catalogue of high-quality machinery, including agricultural, excavators, telehandlers, dozers, dumpers, and more, do not miss your chance to get the kit you need to grow more this spring. Register now for the next Ritchie Brothers auction on the 13th and 14th of May now at rbauction.co.uk.
On average, rate tax refunds get their customers £3,000 back. Search Rift Tax Refunds today.
Nobody knows Vegas like BetMGM, and we know just how loud it can get. So sometimes it's important to turn it down or take a break. Because a little pause keeps the fun in play. To find out more about BetMGM's safer gambling tools and how we can support you to keep your play safe, visit the safer gambling area of our app or website. BetMGM. 18 plus, please gamble responsibly.
Champions League live on talkSPORT with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
On 1089 and 10 medium wave, online, on your mobile and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT. Talk Sport.
Good evening with your headlines. I'm Uma Gurav. Defending champions PSG are back into the Champions League final after dispatching Bayern Munich 6-5 on aggregate. The second leg wasn't quite the 9-goal thriller we so enjoyed last week. In fact, only 2 goals in this one. This ended up being the crucial one.
Kvaratskhelia, left-hand side of the penalty area, he's pulled back, and it's taken only 2.5 minutes. PSG already ahead.
Harry Kane then scored for Bayern deep in stoppage time to set up a nervy finish, but it was all too little, too late. So it will be PSG versus Arsenal in that final in Budapest. Earlier today, we asked former gunner Darren Bent whether he backs Mikel Arteta's side to finally end that hunt for European glory. He says it depends what happens in the top flight.
If Arsenal have won the league by then, so it's not going to the last game of the season, and Arsenal done it, I feel confident that they can get a result. This is a one-off.
What are you more likely to win? What? Premier League?
Yeah.
Speaking of Arsenal, it's being reported they're set to hold talks with Mikel Arteta over a new contract this summer. He's got 1 year left on his current deal. In the last hour, Man City have been crowned WSL champions despite not actually playing tonight. Arsenal dropping points in their 1-1 draw against Brighton means nobody can catch City now, who have 1 game left to play. It's their first time lifting the trophy since 2016. And Gianni Infantino's tried to justify sky-high World Cup ticket prices by incorrectly claiming the cheapest seats to watch American college football cost $300. They actually cost $30, while the World Cup final tickets in the US cost $6,000 more than they did for the Qatar World Cup.
talkSPORT News.
Health authorities say 2 people have returned to the UK from a cruise ship hit by the rat-borne disease hantavirus. And Donald Trump's doubled down on his claim that a deal with Iran is imminent. I'll have more in an hour.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Keep spring journeys safe. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com to book your tyres, MOTs and servicing so you can drive away happy every time.
Most areas will be dry with some frost possible, especially in the east. A few showers will continue in the west while rain continues across the north.
On 1089 and 1053 medium wave on your mobile and on your smart TV. Double trouble, after-whistle argument and filter-free football talk. The nation's favourite air-conditioned late-night sports speakeasy. The Sports Bar with free-thinking radio radicals Jason Cunley and Jamie O'Hara on talkSPORT.
Alright fans, here we go with the main event of the evening. Welcome to the Sports Bar of talkSPORT. I'm Jamie O'Hara, and Jason Cundy is meant to be here, and he's not. Where's he gone? Cundy's not here. The show's started. What are you doing? The show's started. It's shambles. Leave him. I'm sorry. It's a fine.
Has anyone seen Oktoberfest? Can you Oktoberfest? Can you hear the German signal? You're with hell of a beat in BMW Mercedes, Porsche, Volkswagen, Bratwurst. Can you handle me first? You're going to win a hell of a beating. Contact lenses, German infection. Can you handle me currywurst? Brava. Can you handle me Beethoven? You're going to win a hell of a beating. Gerd Muller. Where's Harry Kane? Can you handle me Harry Kane? Kane, can you handle me? You're going to win a hell of a beating. Albert Einstein. Lothar Matthäus. Franz Beckenbauer. Can you handle me Bayern Munich? You're going to win a hell of a beating.
Absolute joke. You're a disgrace. PSG are through to the Champions League final. They'll be playing against Arsenal. Arsenal fans, how are you feeling about it? Good, bad, ugly. You've got PSG. 03717 22 Harry Kane doesn't win a Champions League. How's he feeling? You can have your say on that. He can put his feet up now, hopefully. Chill for the World Cup. We need him fit. We'll be ranking companies' top 5 beers as well after it's announced that Ryanair CEO wants to put a 2-beer cap on airport pints.
You look.
Absolute disgrace.
Show this Ryanair.
And we're going to build up to a huge semi-final between Villa and Forest. Get involved in this show. It's Sport on talkSPORT. Hello, mate.
Hello, mate.
How are you?
Oh,
Where'd you go?
Mate, I just do a little dash.
Dash?
Dash.
Dash for some cash?
A little dash.
Right.
Yeah, I know. It just come from nowhere.
Okay, you're right though.
No, I am now.
Right, cool.
No, I am now. I've recovered.
Run out and I don't know where you live.
Yeah, that. Sometimes, you know. Anyway, move on. No one's to hear about my over
We watched the football match tonight.
We did.
It wasn't the greatest game that we all kind of were feeling it. Obviously the first time was, but this one was a.
It's a different game.
Different game, yeah.
Yeah, and I think what we saw in the first leg, the two sides that aren't going to change their approach to a game. We're going to go toe to toe, like two heavyweight boxers, slugging it out, landing the biggest punches they can. And boy, there's some punches landed last week. And I think that once PSG took the lead, and I think there's probably always going to be Luis Enrique's approach to the game. They didn't need to score the next goal of the game, but they did. Once they got the nose in front, I think we saw another side to PSG that actually, defensively, they're very good. They snuffed out anything that Bayern Munich had going forward. Elise hardly saw him, saw Kane bits and pieces, and then the goal. But they snuffed out any attacking threat they had. And we saw a side there that's comfortable, out of possession. I mean, talk about in possession as well, but Bayern Munich, they offered nothing really.
No.
Did they?
No.
One or two moments.
No.
I know people talk about the handballs, we'll discuss that in a second. But
Exactly.
I think, yeah, the penalty, yeah, yes, I agree with that. There was another one that they got away with it. Was it Lima that was adjudged to have handled the ball, and Mendes handles it, and the rest of all he blown his whistle. There was that to go on.
A few moments. The referee weren't really on Bayern Munich's side tonight.
Well, I mean, I didn't mind the way he officiated. If he doesn't think it's a foul, and there's some questionable ones, but players go down there always looking for the cheap free kick, and he wasn't playing ball. He was like, you know, you go down. I think Luis Diaz, the free kick on the edge of the box where he gets bumped, it's a free kick. But Luis Diaz goes down, then he grabs the ball. I think the referee took the free kick handball. So he's like, no, I don't think it's a free kick. You can't referee the game for me. It was slightly weird, bearing in mind how we've become so used to officials in Europe being so soft, and giving free kicks for nothing. But I think if I was a gooner right now, I've seen a side to PSG because Arsenal defensively are the best side in the tournament. They are. There's no doubt about that. The record will tell you that. PSG showed tonight, actually, you can come up against. I mean, there was a stat going on until Kane scored. They scored in every single game this season. And it took them until the 95th minute to score a goal, right? Yeah. So I think there is a side to PSG that maybe we've underestimated a little bit. I certainly did. I thought the PSG. I mean, look, we scored. We were in the game at PSG. We scored 2 goals against them. And there was a period in that game at 2-2. We think Chelsea should be the side to go get the next goal. But they've shown another side tonight. And I just wonder whether the Gooners I'd be looking at that going right.
How do you think they feel about it?
I don't think they probably care. I mean, they may have. I don't know. You have to ask them. I mean, 2 things there. That's the end. Score 5-6. They drew tonight. I thought PSG over 2 legs deserved it. I thought they're better. Don't scale him, mate. I mean, wow.
This is genuine.
He is just. Yeah. at least they're on the other side. It's not a great deal.
No, he had a quiet night tonight.
Yeah, Gravitzkelia, he is. Yeah, he's a free spirit. He does what he wants. He's got so much about him: physical strength, pace, power, vision. Makes the right decision more often than not. Makes the right pass or the right cross or the right shot. Yeah, he's an absolute force to be reckoned with. Stop him. You go a long way to stop. Not completely, but a long way to stop PSG.
Okay, well, look, Arsenal fans, I want to hear from you. Obviously, huge night last night. You've made it through. Now you know who you're playing. You're playing PSG. Are you happy? Are you not? I think it's probably the tougher game.
Maybe, yeah. Only slightly, I would say. But yes, I would suggest, because they're the holders, and they've got a manager we're talking about a team here. They didn't go back to back. They've got a manager who knows how to win. Arsenal don't know how to win. Arsenal haven't been here. PSG have been here. They've trodden this path. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the real kicker, I would say, for PSG that they have over Bayern Munich. I know Bayern have won it in the past, but this squad hasn't. This manager hasn't. Luis Enrique does. He knows how to win, and that be the one thing. If I was going to go, maybe a preferred one.
Well, let's go to Justice. He's a Bayern fan, right, Justice?
Justice.
How are you? How you feeling?
All right, matey. How are you?
I don't know. I'm shaking, trembling. I don't really know what to say. It's been rough. I mean, I feel like it's. I mean, many teams have done a lot worse this season. Yes, we've won the league, but I feel like that's kind of not the expectation, especially with the squad like the one we've gone into the season. And I mean, we've known from the get-go, like it's kind of hard. We don't have the squad depth. I mean, what are we bringing on? We're bringing Davies, who's coming back from injury. I mean, we're bringing on freaking Nicolas Jackson. I mean, what is he gonna do? Like, he's not gonna save our season. He's on the wing. I mean, he's got no left foot. I don't know what the plan was there, but then again, I don't blame company. I mean, they don't have anything on the bench ever since Gnabry went down throughout the season. That's just kind of. That's kind of what the risk you go in, but like, I mean, yes, talk about the ref. I mean, first, like, I don't know how you give a pen. I don't know if the rules in Germany, like, I'm from Germany. I don't know if the rules are different there, but like, I thought that if it deflects off of your own leg, it's not a handball or penalty. But then, I mean, if you give that, fair enough. But then, how is this one not a pen? I mean, he clearly. Like, was it João Neves, Vitinha, I don't know.
Well, he kicked against his own player, that one. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Is there a different rule in the UK? I mean, am I, like...
It's handball.
It's a pen.
It's handball.
It's a handball. But barring that, I mean, Upamecano, how many mistakes has that guy done today? And it's been the same over the course of the season. Yes, he looks good against freaking Zantauli, like, Boston, Heidenheim, yeah, like, you look good against them, but I mean, Kvaratskhelia 3v1, like they just played 10 man at the back, just pinned it up front, and they were through. Like, you'd expect Bayern to win the ball off of them, and I'm just fuming because Olise again, like, yes, he was good in the first leg, but come on, like, we've got to do more there. And I honestly don't know what this means for next season, because we might win the DFB Cup, but I just don't think that's the standard for a team like Bayern. Like, it's all about the Champions League, and we've clearly shown that it's not enough this season.
You got beat by PSG in the semi-final. I mean, what, like, you're saying it's not good enough? Like, all right, so you lost 6-5. Like, it's been an unbelievable time.
Yeah, it's been an unbelievable time for...
On another night, it goes your way. Like, you're playing against the best team. They are the best team, PSG.
I mean, 6-5, you said it there, 6-5. How do you concede? How do you score 5 goals and not go through?
You can see 6.
Okay. My friends warned me not to, that you guys can make people lose their... I don't know.
No, but look, you're digging out your club, and I get it. You're frustrated and you're upset, but you say it's not good enough. Like, you've won the league, you've got cup final, right? You've got cup final.
We've got a cup final against Leverkusen, yeah.
Okay, right. So you could do the double, and you've lost in the semi-final to the reigning champions.
The truth is, there was a 10-minute period in the first leg when this tie was taken away from you, where you're in it, and then all of a sudden, PSG stretch their lead. And then you've got to, and you clawed your, I mean, credit, you clawed your way back into it. But then you look back over a tie, it wasn't that big a period that you lost the game. You're talking 10, 15 minutes. That's the only time that you got outscored over that period. And that's where the tie got away from. You got back in it. And then tonight, you had to really score the first goal.
You can't perform it.
No, you had to score the first goal. That's the truth. You had to score the first goal.
The first goal. I mean, the stadium was gone straight away. Like, they killed the atmosphere straight away. I mean, it really hurt us. I also don't understand company. A couple decisions. Like I said, Nicolas Jackson. I don't think you bring him on, especially not on the wing. Put Kane down in the 10, Jackson up front, like we've done all season when we've rested a couple players. Stanisic, I don't know why he's playing. I think it should have been Davies and Leimer from the start.
Davies got injured,
but he started the first leg. Like he should have been fine. And also, how many games are left this season? Like, I don't think you preserve a player in when you're down one goal on aggregate. You don't preserve a player like that and then let Stanisic play. I mean, you could get Schalke, Timo Becker, like you could get all kinds of players involved. I feel like they would have done a better job there. So
sound like you took it well, Justice.
Justice, come on, mate.
Yeah,
I appreciate the call, bud. I know we've all been there. We know what it feels like.
It's a horrible feeling. Listen,
Yeah.
Justice, thank you for your call, mate. I'm going to go to Steve. He's an Arsenal fan, right, Steve?
Right, Steve-o.
Hello, Jason. Hello, Jamie. Love her show. And first, sorry, my name is Stephen. Only because my mother hears this, she'll go crazy being called Steve.
Right, sorry, Steve.
Can I call you Steve-o?
Yes, you can. And Jason, I've actually met you before. I don't know if you remember. I saw you outside Stamford Bridge back in September 2024. I was there for my late father's 70th birthday. So I kind of just saw you, and then we took a picture together. Even though as an Arsenal fan, I kind of have got a bit of a soft spot for Chelsea. But
Don't say me.
Not handy.
Have you not got a soft spot for me?
I've got a soft spot.
Oh, Steve-o. Steve,
No one has.
oh, that's not Steve-o. Steve, you've got a soft spot for me or not?
Of course now, Jason. Again, as it's my first on the show, I'm hoping that you'll go nice and gentle on me, but I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about, I watched the game tonight.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't call in yesterday because firstly, I thought there'd be so many Arsenal fans calling. Some of the calls, some of the calls last night as well, I'm just like, seriously, I can understand why we get such a bad rap when I heard some of the...
What were the calls?
Just some of the things that we were talking about. Just we need to stay grounded in this moment. But I do think that PSG are obviously favourites, but I really wanted Bayern Munich tonight. When I watched it, I thought we're more of a level playing field if we had Bayern. I think PSG are definitely going into the game favourites. But I think for Arsenal, all we have to do is just do what we do best, defend resolutely, and then if we get a chance, it's great.
Long throw.
Yeah, or even if we get a chance, we've got to be really clinical in that. They are quite frightening going forward, but again, one-off game, you never know what's going to happen.
Of course, and look, Arsenal go into this game. Look, PSG were slight favourites, that's my guess. Only slight. They're not overwhelming favourites, not at all. Overwhelming. Give me percentage after this.
Give me the odds.
No, percentage.
I think yes. I will go 70% PSG.
30% Arsenal.
Yeah. We're talking about reigning champions here, the highest goal scorers in the whole of the league. Chelsea, Arsenal. Maybe I'm being harsh. Yeah, you know what, mate? Maybe I'm being harsh. They're undefeated, Arsenal.
Yeah,
in Champions League, they conceded 6 goals.
I'm going.
Maybe I'm being a bit harsh. I'll go 69 first.
Remember that 69, 31, 70, 30. I'm going to go a bit more than that. I'm going to go 55. Oh, no. That's 55% lost.
Favourites?
Oh, buy. Sorry. And then the other bit, PSG, the other bit, PSG. So
what are you on about?
It's like PSG. And then the other bit
why are you
goes
confusing me? You don't say buy around.
Buy around.
So 55% PSG.
Yeah.
So what's Arsenal?
The other bit.
To me, the other bit.
The other percentage. I'm going to go the other percentage. That's where I see it. I think PSG have got the larger lion's share, but not by a lot.
Well,
55 on 55.
yeah. Oh, mate, do it.
55, 45, I don't know.
Well, you got the money.
45.
Yeah. Steve, listen, thanks
Cheers,
to
Steve.
I want to hear from Arsenal fans. Are you happy you got PSG? Look, here's one. Here's a question for you. You played PSG in the Club World Cup final. Hold the pants. You think Arsenal can look at that and go, right, we've got a chance?
I don't know whether you can.
You went into that as underdog.
No, we did, and we actually beat them, ironically, by playing long balls over the... Sanchez put 2 long balls over the top, and they're actually...
Arsenal did that